because this is really personal. I have been open to everything. I think,
yeah, you looked really
candidly,
distraught.
I don't get enough credit for even the fact that I shared these group chats in the first place. We shared a lot of information about trans, about Charlie, how Charlie was more concerned about than any other community.
So they've been blaming Joe Kent for stealing or for leaking these group chats. He just said that I shared these group chats in the first place. I'm going to give you numerous examples, multiple examples of this guy telling you that he shared these group chats, these messages with other people. His words, not mine, quote unquote, people, plural. He does say government at one point, but he also says people. And it was a group chat full of other people, right? So it's not like this is classified information that was secured. This is a group chat, right? Always assume that any group chat that you're in is being recorded and monitored and shared. I always do. Anyways, let's continue.
Community about the trans coming after him. You want to know the truth? That's actually the truth. I heard over the course of the last 2 years of Charlie's life, probably about 50 references of how he knew the trans Tifa was going to come after him. And he was worried about that. That's the truth. Never mentioned one time about the Jews. Okay? Never once. And here's why it's so frustrating is because there is going to be even more evidence that is presented to the public in May at the evidentiary hearing, okay? And it's a mountain of evidence, some of which has been made public, some of which has not been made public yet. And the prosecution is going to lay out its case against Tyler Robinson. And I'm told it's a whopper. I'm told they've got this guy dead to rights. And meanwhile, you have government officials that are now saying on the record.
What they're doing right now with all of this, and I'll go through the accounts. And I mean, every large size conservative account, right, that I used to follow all of these people. They all came out pushing this propaganda today, complaining about Joe Kent tainting the jury pool as they taint the jury pool. You cannot make, that's exactly what the jury hasn't been selected. So every time they put this shit out all over the news, they're tainting, like when the public sees that shit, they are altering the perception. They're painting him as guilty before he's had his day in court. They're actually tainting the jury pool.
2 journalists, they are willing to testify on behalf of the defense to get Tyler Robinson off the hook for something that he did.
That he did.
The level of betrayal that I currently feel is dramatic and extreme. The level of just frustration, the idiocy that is on full display, we have to call it out because if this ends up screwing up the jury pool, if this ends up in some ways getting a hung jury, getting this case thrown out, or even just getting the death penalty off the case.
He's literally reading from a script. Watch his eyes.
Off the potential list of consequences here. I'm not going to be happy with that. I'm telling you that as somebody who was open to all different options, I didn't care where the truth led. This is where the truth led. This is it. And for any fair-minded person, this is crackpot conspiracy garbage brain rot stuff. And now it's gotten really serious. This isn't podcaster junk. This isn't like social media conspiracy nonsense. This is an actual government official who's now going to be called to testify on behalf of the defense. And that is a bridge too far. That is a line in the sand that we must hold.
That's absolutely false. You don't know that he has been called to testify. He hasn't been subpoenaed. He's lying. This is just absolutely false. What he said was, what Joe Kent said was, they read it. If I am called to testify, I will. I am not seeking to do so. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Negatively impact the trial of the assassin of my friend, of Blake's friend. So that's the breaking news.
Nobody believes these clowns.
I don't want to dwell on it for the whole show here.
I really don't like the way he uses the language like it's canceled. wondering what is real.
Jury pool is being tainted, and listen to what he just
He's
said.
fucking tainting it.
Yes, he just said his effort is absolutely affecting the jury pool now.
100%. 100%. All right. Go ahead, Gerard.
So I just want to make something clear that a lot of people seem to don't understand. You can't just walk into a courtroom and say, hey, I'm here to testify, and I'm going to testify to, I mean, whether or not you think they're conspiracy theories or, I mean, fake conspiracy theories, you can't just go into a courtroom and testify. So if Joe Kent has information that is relevant to the case and he has some kind of foundation for it, the judge will let him testify. Otherwise, he won't be allowed and the jury won't hear him.
He has to be called by he has to be called by a party of the trial. He can't just go in and tell the judge, I want to testify. He has to be called by the prosecution or the defense.
That's absolutely correct. And there has to be a foundation to his testimony as well, and some kind of evidentiary support for it. So if he has something relevant and either that's going to exonerate Tyler Robinson or condemn him, he should be heard. So all these people pearl clutching and saying, how dare he want to testify, or not that he said he wants to, but he said be willing to. You want the truth, don't you? You want relevant evidence to be presented in front of the jury. Otherwise, we're just condemning people like a communist regime.
It's exactly what we're behaving like in some regards. It's crazy. I never thought, man, I never imagined this is where we'd be at, but here we are, acting like a communist regime. Maybe. So remember, he was saying, Joe Kent leaked these messages, whatever, blah blah blah. So this is on October.
I want to take
7th,
the start of the
2025. Last year, just 3 weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I want you to listen very closely to what he says. Oh.
this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So
what did you just say? How many people did he share the text messages with? Did anybody catch that? He shared it
Not
with
a
what?
number. Not a number. Did he say a number?
How many did he say? Let's listen to it one more time.
Where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. Shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went.
How many?
We wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where.
He wanted to leave no stone unturned, so he shared it with a few people. So there he says a few people. He doesn't say government, and later he says government.
Where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone. And that somehow we're just sweeping things under the rug.
Yeah, I believe that you are. 100% believe that you are. Let's go to. Let's see. So he's directly contradicting himself. He's saying that. Where's that? I mean, they are going hard today. These are all just within the few hours. They're going hard at Joe Kent. They're going hard at the narrative that Tyler Robinson is guilty of this crime. It's crazy. Go ahead, Coyote. Please go down to the bottom right corner, you guys. Repost the space in the comment section. Help boost us up in the algorithm. Thank you so much. If you have your hand up, go.
Yeah, so I was looking at this guy. Is this the Schellenberger or whatever guy? He's a minion. I've never heard of this. I'm honestly trying to get a feel for this guy because he sounds crazy. He's an Anabaptist. Have you ever heard of that?
A what?
Yes,
I've
yes.
never heard of that.
Anabaptist, bro. That's kind of bad, like radical.
Well, the Anabaptist movement began right after Protestantism began. So
Dude, we can watch the Schellenberger clips. I want to hear what he's got to say. It's right here. I know we're listening to a lot of clips, but I think it's important because there's a massive media campaign to control the narrative around Charlie Kirk right now because of Joe Kent. And I am still. I haven't heard back from Candace. I'll message her tonight. She's gonna ask him if he'll come onto our space. So, who else? Miss Lou, go ahead.
I was just going to say, from just taking the lens back to the very beginning, Diligent, you remember Pam Bondi came on and said, "We have our man, and we're going to seek the death penalty." There was, I mean, it was like a cut and close case right then and there as far as the government was concerned. So if you remember the
And
statements on that, they were
the
we've got our man, and this is it, and don't argue with us, and we're seeking the death penalty. And that was it.
I didn't see this, but I read it today when I was looking into what Schellenberger was saying. They're saying that Tyler Robinson later said in these court documents that he was involved, but not the trigger man. He didn't pull the trigger. That's what I had read earlier. That's not corroborated, but that's also what I heard from his family was the same thing. Was that he was involved, but he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger. So that's what I heard. That's
Was
just
that his
hearsay.
grandmother that said that, Diligent, when you talked to her?
I'm at liberty to say.
Oh, gotcha.
So take it with a grain of salt. Okay.
well, I would say this, my friend, if they are going to say that Tyler Robinson is guilty when he hasn't been tried, then I'm perfectly okay with us saying Israel killed Charlie Kirk. I mean,
Well, they're definitely pushing back on that narrative. Did you hear him say it's not the Jews? I couldn't believe I heard him say it.
well,
He said it.
listen, let's back up here for a second and realize how this went from being a Christian organization to Judas Incorporated. Whatever you want to say about Charlie Kirk, he was one of the purest advocates for free speech. And this is what I loved about him. I always supported him in that way. I always loved someone who said, I may disagree with you, and you do this too, Diligent, but I defend your right to say what it is that you're saying. Dave Smith is like this. There are actually people on the left, by the way, that are like that too, and I really respect that. But think about the fact, that when someone that represented is supposedly aligning themselves with my friend, again, Judas Incorporated, is actually trying to stop free speech. Charlie Kirk was constantly accused of being a conspiracy theorist and election denier. And his pushback was that we should never trust the experts. And he didn't like the uncritical sort of going with what the experts were saying. And he always called out the fact that the word conspiracy theorist was being weaponized against them. And now who's doing that? Right? I mean, if Charlie Kirk wasn't killed by the Israelis, why is TPUSA trying so hard to make it look like Charlie Kirk was killed by the Israelis? Everything that Charlie Kirk said is anathema to them now. When they're yelling at you and wagging their finger about this, they're wagging their finger at Charlie Kirk. Because who was the first person to intimate that Israel would assassinate Charlie Kirk? It was Charlie Kirk. He was the one who said it. He said it before he died. He said, I think they're going to kill me. And by the way, that doesn't mean they did, right? But it does mean it's very weird when you're using the term we've had this term, all of us, reputedly them too, this term conspiracy theorist thrown at us just over and over and over. It's their secret talisman. They hold that up and they sort of get you to go away. They shut you down. You can't talk anymore. And we're talking about this. We're hearing this now from people that purportedly represent an organization where the guy would say, prove me wrong. Where the guy would take all comers, where the guy would say, okay, let me hear what you're saying and let me repeat that back to you. And let me give you my response. Let me find out what what point you're trying to get at. And it's just, and look at your spaces now. Like, could one of these guys come on your space? Could we just go through the facts one at a time? No, we may not. You may not follow a diligence line of questioning, diligence line of thinking. This is just investigative journalism. And they're saying you're not allowed to talk about it, which is the most anti-Charlie Kirk thing you could possibly say.
100% it is. And the audacity of these fuckers coming out and telling you that to independently investigate Charlie Kirk's assassination is dangerous. Dangerous, right? Like, oh, I'm a threat for investigating who killed Charlie Kirk? What?
And who's been
Uh,
saying that for the past 5 years? It was dangerous to question the narrative on COVID. Think about it. Everything they said, this is all coming from the left. And all of a sudden, they're saying it when they start using the nomenclature and terminology which is authoritarian, of the left. Know this, my friends, they have switched sides. Now you can come to your own conclusions why they switched sides, but they have clearly switched sides when they're using all their terminology and all their tactics.
100%. 100%. Go ahead, Garrett, and then Coyote.
All right. Well, I haven't speak this in public yet, but I've been part of Turning Point for the last couple years, and I got really close last year. And there's pictures on my profile right after.
I met Garrett at Turning Point's event.
So anyway, I haven't speak public about this, but I have a feeling because I'm in Arizona and I'm part of thing. I have a feeling that the ones I talked to, and I've been by Tyler Boyer, and I've looked at him, and I can tell he doesn't have a part, but I think there's something with him, his group that controls him, and some other part of it's part of Mesa thing that controls everything. When I've been trying to look into it, and I'll show you eventually. Dylan, I just haven't got to the, I like to give true facts before I post about. I'm in the group chats with the top chase people in Arizona with them. And then there's called the Mormon Mafia. Now, what I was told by a couple of them here after trying to work, the Mormon Bishop Mafia was not happy with Charlie because I guess there's something I've been trying to look into it where Trump term tried to go after the Mormon church for child sex, and then Biden pressured it. And then they were pressuring Charlie to have the refund him the charges dropped. But that's where I got, and I haven't got into deep yet. But I've been keep going. But I have a feeling, and if you were there in Utah and you see how the Mormon people are, they wouldn't talk to you because the bishop controls them. So I have a feeling there's something with the Mormon church, and the Mormon church does have affiliates of other foreign countries that control them and the Mormon church for their money side. So that's what my take is on who assassinated Charlie was part of the Mormon church.
Well, I mean, it's anything's possible. But Garrett, I met you at Amfest, right? We hung
Yeah,
out.
we met me at Fest, yeah. But see, like a couple months ago, when I started pushing question more of these people, now I've been kind of blacklisted.
Blacklisted
Yep, blacklisted.
for asking,
I was
and Garrett, I couldn't think of a more diehard, red-blooded Trump supporter,
Well, I worked
MAGA.
on Trump's first campaign since 2016, so I was part of the first campaign to bring Trump. I was at Trump's first rally in Arizona when first Trump came. So I've been
Door knocking, all of the shit. Garrett's done all of the shit that you do to try to get Trump elected. Like myself, you did door knocking, signing up or registering voters, campaigning, all of that shit. He's done, and he's telling you that he got blacklisted for asking too many questions about Charlie Kirk. Let me ask you this, Garrett. when did you start to question the narrative? When did you start to ask questions? Like what
Well,
made you go,
after Charlie got killed, then I watched some of the stuff. Then and I started questioning. But I mean, I do believe Robinson he is the killer. But there's who Tim, because there's always a motive. And if I had a couple transgender people try to kill me because in public figure wise, because but I mean, you got to live in a community area where certain areas where now they're taking these kind of people. And if you ever play online gaming, like I was a professional online gaming, they recruit these kind of kids from certain games.
okay, well, yeah, I mean, like it's definitely plausible, right? I don't know. I'm open. We have to be open, like objectively, we have to be open to Tyler Robinson having committed this
I
crime.
mean,
I
I'm
definitely am.
open, but I mean, it's just always, there's always a motive. There's so many. I mean, you got crazy people. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know until the proof, full evidence, but there's always somebody's making somebody change their mind to go after somebody's. It's called propaganda.
Are you still can you said you got blacklisted. What do you mean? Like they just don't talk to you anymore? You can't go work with TPUSA for the midterms? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, like certain stuff, they, shush, you can't talk to me about certain things. Still in the group. I haven't, well, nothing starts till this summer. So I'll find out more with Annie Biggs. And I feel like, in Arizona, it's starting to, our stuff comes out midterms, but I don't know if I'm going to do anything or not. I've been kind of saying, do I really want to help them again or not?
They're not getting any help from me. They're getting nothing but scrutiny and a magnifying glass and a bright ass flashlight and the sunlight. That's all they're getting
And
from
I
me.
and
I'm
I
a
know from Trump administration, because I have worked with them, and I've been I don't know who's running around Trump. There's something's keeping Trump from.
something keeping Trump what
I think somebody's keeping Trump. There's
in the
somebody up
dark.
there in the dark, because even as I have talked to both of his sons, and they can't even talk to their dad no more. Like, they're keeping Don Jr. away from him most of the time.
That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Thank you, Gary. Go ahead, Coyote.
I'd like to ask him a question real quick.
Yeah,
And
go
then, and
ahead.
then yeah. So Garrett, so you're still in there, like you're cool with, TPUSA, and they wouldn't have an issue, with you coming up here and
Well,
kind of.
not TPSU. There's a different part. I'm the other organization, and there's more part. I'm not cool with the
Turning point
corporate.
action.
Yeah, the other thing. That's the Chase vote, where the Tournament USA is their other main. That's I call it the fake chapter.
Is that like the think tank or?
No, turning point action. One's a 501c3 and one's a 501c4. One can affiliate and recommend and endorse and campaign for political candidates, and one can't. And the turning point action is the one that can't. It can only register voters. So that's like it can do like ballot harvest or ballot chasing and voter turnout. That's what they're about, and registration and stuff like that. So it's a sister organization to TPUSA. It's still TPUSA. It's just TPUSA Action. So because it's a different kind of nonprofit.
It amazes me the more I learn about like the TPUSA. I think that, I mean, Charlie, he was a brilliant guy, great debater. I think he was a little gullible, like in a sense, and I just think they, he was very trusting with this, and they built a freaking mafia around it. I wanted to say, I think that because David, like, I take notice of that word conspiracy theorist, and I always go back to 1967 when the CIA came out and said what they did. They used it to discredit people. So I looked into that. I wanted you to know. And the reason that verbiage right there, that rhetoric, I guess you could say, is still you like because tropes isn't very appealing, and there's not a good word to to use to try to make that conspiracy theorist like Ben Shapiro. I was listening to him the other day. which was terrible. But I'm about done with it. Like when they say that or whatever, I automatically go to that 1967, and it's like I feel like I'm right. Like whatever I'm talking about, that I get called a conspiracy theorist. I think I'm like right there. But it bugs the hell out of me. I don't know why.
You can respond, Garrett. Go ahead.
I want to be clear. I volunteered my time. I didn't get paid by them. I have no funds from them at all. I did this on voluntary time. I don't take money from anybody. Only so I'm not a paid shill.
You're not a paid show. I know you're not a paid show. I believe Garrett's a man of principle. And I appreciate you coming up here and sharing that, because I know, coming out and talking to us like this, it can they'll try to they can try to cancel you, right? Like if you weren't blacklisted before, speaking out as Kent is finding out, Joe Kent will bring out the swarm, and they will come after you hard, and they're going after him really hard. Sam, welcome to the stage.
How you
Few
doing,
things
buddy?
to talk about. Go ahead.
I was just saying, how you doing, man? I just got on here, so I thought I'd just kind of lurk for a little while and get up to speed with what you guys are talking about, unless you want to catch me up real fast.
Well, I was just talking about the smear campaign on Joe Kent by all of the shills today. I didn't. Did you notice?
It's been going on for a couple days, hasn't it?
But hard. I mean, particularly over Charlie Kirk, right? It's been
Well,
going on
I
for
think
about a
that's because
week. But
we're over the target. Like I posted last night, and I really think it's this simple. I mean, this is now officially proof of a cover up, right? A plot has been confirmed. We have Andrew Colvett yesterday revealing that he's frustrated or mad or however you want to say it. He did not want the public to know the contents of that group chat. That was not his intent when he gave that group
and what were
chat.
the contents of that group chat, Sam?
Well, the one where Charlie said, I leaving me no choice but to drop the pro-Israel cause. He gave those messages or those screenshots, whatever format, to Joe Kent, with the understanding that it was going to be secret and private, behind the quiet and behind the scenes. And so yesterday, when he went after Joe Kent for leaking that, and he was like mad and trying to jump on the throw Joe Kent under the bus train, what he accidentally did was admit that, like, he never meant for us to find out what was in those group chats, right? He that was not his intent. So we've operated under the assumption that maybe he gave them to Candace so that Candace could tell everybody and get the truth out. We've sort of been thinking these types of things, but no, he is quite clear yesterday. He was very disappointed that Joe can't leak those. Very disappointed. So that told us that it was meant to be private. He did
But he
not
said
mean.
people, though. He actually said that he gave them to more than one person. He said
Right, but
plural.
but he was mad at Joe Kent because he was alleging that Joe Kent was the one that leaked them, that made them go wide.
Correct.
So the point is that it was never his intent that we should know that Charlie had changed his mind. That wasn't his plan, right? He didn't want. We weren't meant to know that. So just marinate on that, everybody. We were not meant to know from Andrew Colvett. We were not meant to know that Charlie had changed his mind on Israel. We weren't supposed to know that. That was not his intent when he shared
Why? Do you
those
think it's
screenshots.
because it's a potential murder motive? You think that could be it?
Well, you'd have to ask Andrew Colvett. The point is he quite clearly communicated that we weren't supposed to know that he was mad and frustrated that got leaked, right? So that was not his intent. That he made that very clear. So people will have to grapple with that. Now that's number one. Number two, Joe Kent. It is completely substantiated, non-controversial, that he was stopped, he was prevented, he was prohibited from pursuing foreign leads. He had leads, and he was prevented from pursuing those leads. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is absolute proof of a cover-up. And when there's a cover-up, there is a conspiracy. I mean, just period, end of story. It's not we don't have to overthink it. We don't have to keep scratching our chins. Joe Kent received proof of possible foreign involvement from Andrew Colvett, and Joe Kent was prohibited from pursuing those leads. That's a cover-up. That is a conspiracy, period, end of story.
I
Well
agree.
done.
I mean, true or not true?
Well, I mean, it's a person. Like, is it's not like primary evidence that like
It doesn't matter. The point is he was prevented from investigating the leads.
Yes, that's proof of a cover up.
That's a
Especially if
cover-up.
he can prove it.
That's a
Yes.
cover-up. There's no cover-up. There's no, you don't engage in cover-up if there's nothing to hide.
Yeah, you only cover up if you're lying.
Yeah, you only cover up if there's something to hide. Literally. I mean, what is a cover-up? Well, you know what they did to Charlie Kirk's crime scene? Literally a cover-up where they ripped up the sod and paved it over. They covered over the crime scene. That's where cover-up comes from, right? The cover-up. I mean, so there's it. That's a cover-up. When they stop you from investigating leads and prevent you from doing your job, that's a cover-up. And there's not a cover-up unless there's something to hide. That's it. Period. End of story. We don't have to overthink it. That is, so I think Colvette coming out yesterday, basically broadcasting that, we weren't supposed to know that Charlie changed his mind and he's mad about that. I mean, like 1 + 2 = 3, folks. Now I can't tell you for sure who's involved, what the motives are, but this is a guaranteed cover up now. This has now moved into the area of guaranteed cover up. That means
Which is
there's
why they are
conspiracy involved.
absolutely losing their minds. They are losing their freaking minds here.
No, absolutely. And so, and you probably have noticed this, Dilly. I've noticed it. Probably Desi has, and many others. A lot of these guys and these Hasbara bots and other regime mouthpieces leave most of my posts alone. But sometimes I get raided, and I take careful note of who raids me and over what. And I just got to say that when they get like this, it's because we're over the target.
Every time. It never fails. Every freaking time.
I mean, right? You've noticed that, right? Where
oh yeah.
all of a sudden you get all these accounts.
All of a sudden, Tim Pool and the Quartering are quote posting me, saying the same thing, attacking me whenever I'm whenever I'm talking about a very sensitive topic. That's when I notice it.
Gary, the brick suit guy, Tim Pool, it's a rogues gallery of the same 15, 20, 25 accounts, they don't normally engage with us, but then Laverne Spicer's another one. All of a sudden, Laverne Spicer, what? Who? What? What? They just all of a sudden start coming into your mentions, coming into your replies, coming into your quote tweets. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm over the target because you're so transparent that like a smart person would maybe harass us on meaningless bullshit just to kind of mix it up. But they don't do that. It's like they only come after us when in very specific cases. So it's like, all right, so what you're saying is we're right or we're on the right track. Thank you.
100%. 100%. I do want to listen to what Schellenberger said because he's the one that came out. He come out saying he was like the tip of the spear of this. They were using his reporting, and he was just reporting on an article. I don't even think he actually interviewed Joe Kent. Maybe he did. We'll find out in a second. But this is the justification for the smear campaign today. Again, let me just remind everybody, do me a favor, go down to the bottom right corner, repost the space. If you want to watch on YouTube, I'm live on YouTube, or on my profile, there's an X link. If you want to see my ugly mug, or if you want to see what I'm playing on the video, you can watch that way. Share the YouTube with your friends who don't use X. That way we can broaden the scope of independent reporting. All right, here we go.
We talked this morning after your story broke, and boy, oh boy, this is a big one. And you interviewed Joe Kent, and so I'll let you say it in your own words. What did he tell you?
Hey, thanks for having me on, Andrew, inviting me on. I think it's pretty big news. Joe Kent, of course, the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, has been saying for the last week that he thinks that he doesn't buy the lone shooter theory of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He suspects there's a foreign nexus, was the words he used, involved in that assassination. He said that the FBI prevented him from investigating it, and that he viewed that as suspicious. And if there was nothing there, he told me, then why did they prevent him from investigating it? I asked him if he was aware before he went public last week that Tyler Robinson, the suspected assassin of Charlie Kirk, that his defense attorneys might actually call Kent to the witness stand to argue that that Robinson could not be
As they
convicted
should.
because the prosecutors had not given them all the information they had available to them. That's something known as the Brady Rule, named after a Supreme Court decision, I believe, in the 1960s. But nonetheless,
That's
most people
why
are
they're
familiar with
freaking
it from
out.
television, which is that the prosecutors can't
You have to
deny,
reveal any
the federal government
exculpatory
can't
evidence.
deny, the government can't deny the defense any information. And Kent is saying that there is information, and that the investigation itself was inadequate. And that, I spoke to a constitutional legal scholar yesterday who said, it would be a no-brainer for the defense attorneys now for Robinson to use Kent's statements as a way to, gain an advantage or potentially a hung jury or a mistrial or something of that nature. So it's pretty serious for people that are interested in seeing justice served with the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Well, listen, Michael, I know that you have to be sort of dispassionate. You're a reporter. But to me, this feels like a giant red line. This feels like galaxy brain run amok. Did you get a chance to ask him
What is
just straight
can
up?
anybody tell me what fucking galaxy brain is? So they said brain rot, and now they're saying galaxy brain. This is a new buzzword. Anybody know what this means?
No idea. Yeah,
That's
it
because-
certainly isn't anything that Andrew Colvett has, like and Blake Neff, who, and Gary Melton, who when they try to cover things up, they accidentally let the truth slip. So yeah, I don't know. Galaxy brain, I'd like to have a galaxy brain,
Hey, government, I know you're watching. These guys suck at what you're trying to get them to do, right? Hire some better, they could have hired me. I'd have been way better.
I was just thinking that. They're not good at it. They're not good at what they're doing. I mean,
horrible. They're not, they come off as, I would say the only person who comes off as more inauthentic is Erica. If there's a hierarchy, a pyramid of fake ass feeling motherfuckers here, I would say she's at the pinnacle, and then you have Andrew Colvett and then Blake Neff. You can't make this shit up.
I agree that. Well, actually, clearly you can. They are making this shit up. But Demonica Kirk clearly is at the top. I agree with you there. I think that there's a level of sociopathy where you lose the empathetic power to know whether your bullshit is walking, because the blind spot here is amazing. We're all watching this and we're just going, no way. Who is this meant to convince? Because it's just like so unbelievably unconvincing.
Hey,
You said
Diligent, Galaxy Brain originated in 2017 as an internet meme. It's a multi-panel image that shows a series of increasingly large, growing, and cosmic-looking brains, starting with a normal brain and ending with a brain filled with stars, often used sarcastically to mock overcomplicated, pretentious, or ridiculous hot takes that pretend to be profound.
It's like a gay insult, bro.
It's
Used
stupid.
by gay people.
It's stupid. I just noticed that we have 400 people in here almost and 60 reposts. Do me a favor, go down to the comment section and please hit that repost button and share the space so we can get up and combat these foreign agent botters that are hosting spaces trying to talk about Iran all day instead of Charlie Kirk or what's happening here. We want to talk about what's happening here. So if you support Americans, repost the space. Let's continue.
Led into the investigation doesn't mean it wasn't investigated.
Yeah, I mean, thanks. I appreciate the point. I mean, I'm trying to, the truth is I actually like kind of everybody involved in this. I've actually admired Kent and the things he said in the past. I also care a lot about the transgender issue. We reported it exclusively on leaked files.
You've been amazing on this issue, Michael. Just to underscore your point, you have been one of the lead voices exposing some of the craziness and the zaniness behind the transgender radical trans ideology. So I just wanted to give you some bona fides there.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously it's a big issue, and I think many Americans felt that they didn't need to pay attention to the issue at all. But now we've seen trans-identified people engaged in shootings, obviously, or maybe not obviously, probably obviously to your audience. It was the last thing that Charlie Kirk was talking about before he was assassinated. It appears as though the evidence that Tyler Robinson committed that assassination is pretty overwhelming. And to be fair to Joe Kent, he didn't dispute that. What he's raising here is that there may be some broader conspiracy, and there's not a lot of evidence for that. And but nonetheless, because Kent is such an important voice, he could easily be used by the defense attorneys. I did directly ask him repeatedly that, given that his agency is an intelligence gathering, or really an intelligence synthesizing and coordinating agency as part of the broader coordinating intelligence mission of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, he didn't have the authorities to do a law enforcement investigation. It was an FBI investigation. And, didn't he sort of need to trust that his colleagues at the FBI and elsewhere
No, he did not. Go ahead, Kesty, if you want to chime in.
No, I just really quickly wanted to say that he just contradicted himself, because wasn't he just saying like the politics didn't matter, and now he's bringing the politics back in as if it does matter? 100%. I'm just confused with where the fuck he's going with any of this. Or excuse my English, sorry.
It's bullshit.
His voice sounds familiar. That dude.
Schellenberger? He's incredibly, dude. He was
the Twitter files.
Yeah, he was the forefront of him and Matt Taibbi,
and Barry Weiss. Don't forget Barry Weiss
and Barry Weiss, right? But they were at the.
Can we please forget her?
I would like to.
They were like the tip of the spear of that. But it almost makes you wonder if it was part of a broader strategy to lend credibility, to take away credibility from the legacy media and give it to these guys. And here they are, fucking shilling government narrative. That's what I had posted. He said Tyler Robinson confessed. I was like, no, he didn't. He did not. He did not confess to the cops. It's just 100% patently false.
He didn't confess. He didn't confess to the cops. He confessed in three different material pieces.
A confession, in order to be a confession, has to be a signed statement given to the police. Otherwise, it's not a
that's the technical term for sure. That's the technical term for a case
means
for
the
sure.
accurate one. It's what the standard is.
Right,
so
but
it's not a confession.
So you're saying
anything else being labeled as a confession is not a confession. A confession
would you think that
is a sworn and signed affidavit given to the police. Period. It's not up for debate.
Right.
That's
well, if I say I can say that I did something, and that's a confession to do it. I don't need a sworn affidavit.
That is called an admission, not a confession.
Well, okay. So, what do you think his parents think about what he said to him? What he said to them? What do you think? Do you think his parents feel that he confessed to it?
Have they told you that he confessed?
Well, it's very interesting that they haven't said otherwise.
You heard his parents. You can't prove a negative. A negative does not prove anything. Have you?
Well, I know, but there's.
Okay, you're struggling, not talking over me. So, have you heard his parents say he confessed to them or admitted to them? Show me the clip. Play me the clip. Let me see it.
No, I have not heard his parents say that.
Thank you.
However, I have seen people put it in a charging document that makes it illegal to lie. That his parents said this thing actually happened. Okay?
People put it.
Right?
Wait. People put it into a charging document that makes it illegal to lie. The charging document is nothing more than an inventory list of the reasons why the prosecutor thinks that they have a case against Tyler Robinson. It's not a sworn affidavit where they're subject to criminal response if they are seen to be perjuring. That's not what that is. So you have
it's against Utah state law in order to put something knowingly false in there. right? So
knowingly,
knowingly fault, right? So what I'm saying is that if the person that's signing off on that charging document, signing off on it saying the parents said this, right? And then the parents can come by and say, hey, we didn't actually say this, right? Then there would be a conflict. I'm under the understanding that this is probably on video, on body cam, right? So that's why you can't
the video of
negate
his
this.
apprehension.
Like,
No.
does this guy know anything? There is no
Go
video.
ahead,
The
Sam.
video's
Set him
gone.
straight.
How do you know that there's no video?
Bro.
Why do you think that they would release video of all of their witnesses?
Logic. Let him explain to you why there's no video. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, people have grandma requested the video. People have searched for the video.
What's a grandma request, Sam?
Grandma request is the Utah version of a FOIA. Okay, and the sheriff's office has confirmed that they do not have the video of when Tyler Robinson came into the sheriff's.
None of the surveillance cameras, none of the
Nothing.
body cameras.
But that's a straw man from what we're talking. But listen, that's a straw man from what we're talking about. Yes,
you brought it
I can.
up.
I can grant you. No, listen.
No,
wait, stop. Let me show you the straw man. Right. I can grant you the fact that there is no video of him coming into the office. Right. I'm not willing to grant you the fact that they don't have witness testimony from his parents
that you
saying
said body
these
cam.
exact
you said
things.
Body cam.
Well,
So,
right. So like when they whenever the parents talk to the cops,
I can tell you.
You don't know
what happened.
You don't know that there's not body
the
cam.
Uncle recognized Tyler Robinson. He took it to the parents and said, "Do you think that this looks like Tyler?" And the parents said, "Yeah, it kind of does. We need to ask him." They asked Tyler. He came in and said whatever he said. I can tell you, he did not admit to shooting Charlie Kirk. I can tell you that much.
What do you mean? He did it on 3 different modes.
Hold on, bro.
What's being
alleged? Why are you so triggered? Stop talking over me. Calm down. Okay. And then they called their preacher because they're devout Mormons, and the preacher called a retired sheriff, Utah County Sheriff's detective, right, who's a part of the church. And the sheriff's detective said, "Hey," he said, "I'm going to call and turn him in." So the sheriff's detective, and this is what the Utah sheriff said, not me, right, turned him in and then said, "Hey, we're going to come. Will you guys bring him in?" So the former Utah sheriff's deputy and Tyler and his parents accompanied him, and the former Utah sheriff drove. So they did not turn him in, and they never once said, none of them, not one of them ever said that he confessed to shooting Charlie Kirk. You have to have evidence to back up that claim. You're supposing something. You're making an assertion that you do not have any evidence to support. The charging document is not evidence. Period.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying is because you have to try the evidence in court. However, this is the probable cause evidence in the charge. Well, that's not exactly accurate. Okay. Because they put it in the charging document.
It's a fact. You can't make the assertion that it's a fact until it's been
that's fine. I'm just saying it is evidence that has been entered into the courtroom. It's been filed under law, under penalty of law. Yes, it has.
It's
under penalty of law.
No. You don't.
What are you saying? A charging document is not under penalty of law.
It is in the process of being entered in. The reason why the evidentiary hearing is in May, which is 2 months out, is because there's such a broad scope of this evidence. So you have no fucking clue if that
but the broad scope is
in yet.
Right, but the broad scope is to see what evidence is admissible, right? That's why they do this, to see what you can put in the court.
Bro, you're just like rambling. You're rambling. None of this.
It's not rambling.
It does not change the fact. It does not change the fact that you have no evidence that he confessed to anyone. Period. Right? And so all of the people out here, all of the people out here, all of the motherfuckers out here saying it are lying because they don't have that evidence either. And I can go through
right? I can go through today if I search Charlie Kirk or Tyler Robinson, and I'll show you all of the same con ink shill lying motherfuckers saying that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk and saying that he confessed without any receipts, right? And nobody's challenging them except for the people who have some kind of testicular fortitude, and there's not
Right.
very
So
many.
what would you accept as a receipt? Like what would you accept?
I need a sworn statement from the parents.
Oh, okay. Um, so if the prosecution that's doing this in this case has video footage and then of them saying this to them, right? And then the parent says, "We never said
That would
this."
be a
Would you
sworn
accept that?
deposition. Still, it would be an interview that would be
Right.
recorded. That would be
So how do you
used.
know that how do you know that it's not on video that they're
Bro, I
saying
don't
this
go
to
with
the
what
police?
could be. I go with what I can prove. Right
I
now,
know what
as
you're
it
I
doing,
know,
stands,
but what
We
you're
don't know that
saying,
it
but what
is
you're,
or isn't,
but
Kyle.
yeah. Right now, I'm sorry. There's too many people talking at once. But right now, as it
hold on, Mike. Come
stands,
on, just let me go. Just let me go a little
you
bit.
don't
Just
have
let me go a
any
little bit.
evidence to support your fucking claim. Period.
Yeah.
Maybe,
What you're
will
doing
be,
it.
might
What you're
be. None of
doing
that
it.
shit matters right now. So you
I
should
know,
not
but
be out here. They should not be out here tainting a potential jury pool as if they do have that evidence, because they fucking don't. So it's a lie. Let's.
but it's in a charging document that is against the law to lie in, right? So
So every
what you're
time,
saying
every
is
time
that
someone's charged with a crime, they're instantly guilty.
no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm
Are
saying that
claims
there's
evidence
evidence.
of a
Well,
crime?
wait.
No, this is redundant. No, you've had enough time, bro. We're going in circles. This is a
It's a
circular
conflation
argument.
error, though. You're
We're gonna
making a
move.
conflation error. Can I
Nope.
expand?
We're gonna move on from this particular one. We can talk about something
Give me a
else.
shot.
We're gonna go to the hands, and then we can go talk about something else. Go ahead, Terry.
So, I'm not a criminal lawyer. I've said that, but I think the charging document is like a complaint in a civil case. Okay. And a civil complaint is not evidence. What it does is kind of lay out
It's
your,
allegations and why.
yeah, they're allegations. They're your theory of the case. And then you have to come forward and start proving those allegations with admissible evidence. And, again, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, if there's a video of him confessing or not or whatever. But Diligent's point is exactly right. Like, so if someone puts in a charging document, that means that you're guilty? No. There's no.
No.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's
like,
kind of what
come
you're
on,
putting out
Let
there.
him
we're
finish.
complaining
Jake.
again.
That's kind of what you're putting out.
Stop interrupting. Let Terry finish.
But let me go to the next point. I mean, I'm not a gun guy, all right? But the thing that's bothered me about this case from the start is what all the people who are knowledgeable about ballistics and guns have said about a 30-06, what that would have done to the guy. Now, is there some anomaly where the bullet could have done this and that? I guess. I mean, I don't know enough to know, but it's very troubling to me. But the thing I want to say too is there's absolutely an effort to discredit Joe Kent. And I'm sorry, I find him more credible than a lot of the people that are talking. I mean, he's clear-headed. He's well-spoken. He wouldn't go beyond the receipts he has. And he wouldn't disclose, that I've seen, classified information. And Mark Levin went after him yesterday unrelentingly. And I thought Kent just made him look like an idiot. But, that's a judgment on my part. But I think that, there is no question what I heard Diligent play today was two guys, or one guy at least. I mean, he went way beyond what his source said, way beyond. I mean, he was saying, oh, he's guilty and blah, blah. That's completely improper. And, I want him to get the death penalty and all that. I mean, hello? I mean, we got to have a trial. I mean, it's like, let's execute him and then have the trial. So I'm done. But,
I mean, come on, Coyote, you're smarter than that.
Coyote, you mean Logic?
Well, I don't
Hey,
know who was
but listen,
talking. Sorry.
that's fine. There's a conflation error that's happening, right? Right. Like it's okay. There is a legal term for murder, and there is a legal term for somebody killing someone, right? I think that there's enough evidence to suggest that TR killed Charlie Kirk. I think there's enough there, even with what we
Well,
have, even what's in the
But
charging
that's
documents,
not
even
what
with
we're
what
there's
we got.
talking
enough
about.
Now we
evidence
That's
now
not
we
what
can
we're
test
for
talking
it.
about.
probable cause.
However, maybe
We're not talking about what your opinion is. Okay, we're talking about what there's evidence to support, and the claim being thrown out there today over and over again. One, that Joe Kent leaked the text messages of Charlie Kirk saying that he was going to leave the pro-Israel cause just after Charlie Kirk said he was afraid for his life if he left the pro-Israel cause 2 days before he was shot. That Joe Kent
right.
did
So
that.
Blake,
We know that's not
right.
true. Okay, that's one.
So
Okay, because Andrew Colvett himself came out and said that he shared those text messages with quote unquote people. There's one. Two is that all of the claims that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk, that Tyler Robinson confessed to killing Charlie Kirk, that Tyler's parents turned him in, are all unsubstantiated as it stands right now. You are completely speculating and presenting it as if it's fact. And that is not what our job is to do. Go ahead, David.
no, that's fuck. I was wanting to pop in. It's like, okay, of course that Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff, whenever they were on their show, they were presenting the idea that, hey, we have these text messages. These are behind the scenes. Nobody's seen these yet. They were given to a confidential source, and what they said was Joe Kent. Now, maybe it wasn't Joe Kent. I don't know that for sure. That's what they're claiming. Okay.
So can
Now,
I converse with him, Joseph?
all of a sudden, this same exact screenshot that Andrew Colvett had that he shared with the government apparatus that he
You
thought
know,
it could
causation
be
and correlation
protected.
aren't the same, bro. Why are we having this
I know,
discussion? You're using
though.
the own arguments that you hate.
I have to ask.
But listen,
Well,
though.
wait, sorry.
He shared.
I don't know what
He
happened.
shared.
It's a
He
glitch.
shared those text messages with somebody who he thought he can trust it. That's what he was explaining. Now, whether or not you believe him or not, that's fine, right? But he was sharing these text messages with somebody who thought he can trust, and he's doing it in secret. He's like, hey, we need to go and so he's actually doing what he should do and saying, hey, we need to go and investigate this. Like, this might be prudent to this, right? And then for those text messages to come from the government or from somewhere, we don't necessarily know. It could come from somebody else, right? But he's saying this specific screenshot, this is the specific screenshot that I took that I submitted to Joe Kent.
He
This
didn't say
specific
Joe Kent.
screenshot.
He said people. He said
never said
plural
that.
people.
Well, that's not true. You you can
Yeah,
go watch
no,
the videos, right?
motherfucker. No, motherfucker. It is true. I just played it. Don't tell me that's not true. Right? I'll play the clip right now.
The things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is
That he had shared with what? Class? That he had shared with people. Plural. People. Not just Joe Kent. Not just one person. People. He says it twice. Actually, I think he says it 3 times during the clip. He started right off. It's in the first 22 seconds. 22 seconds. Let's go to some hands. Go ahead, Coyote, and then we're going to go to Noah.
So I was gonna say, because I noticed it on the last space you had there when we was talking about Iran and stuff, and I was gonna ask, like, Logic, like, what is the exact your argument, like, with diligent, like, what are you trying to lay across? Because the timelines on everything and just the appearances, it's starting to get a little familiar or whatever, and plus the You do the when somebody barely starts to talk, you do that charge up kind of thing or whatever. It's like you're disrupting or distracting for no reason. Like, what are you arguing with Diligent on? Exactly what are you trying to lay out? Could you give us like an exact, precise like message of what you're trying to say here?
All I'm trying to do is just get to the bottom of everything, right? So it's like I'm not trying to really refute. I'm not trying to really refute Diligent or anything like that. But when
Well,
something is
that's not giving me
said
a
that I
message.
know,
Could you be specific, just precise, ultra, just very,
what do you mean like
very
a what do you mean like
precise?
a message? I'm trying. My
Bro,
message
why
is
don't you
trying to
just
get to
come?
the truth. It's
Can we
going
just
back and
like,
forth.
can we stop dancing around it? I think he's alleging that you are like a Zionist or something along that. Like, are
Who,
you
me?
that's
Who, I'm a
that
No,
you have
not
an
Zionist?
that. Not that.
ideological. He's alluding to. Let
No,
me just
not
cut
that.
to the
Not
chase.
that. I think he might be
No,
paid to come up here and fuck with you.
no,
Oh,
he's not
you're
paid.
out of your mind.
No, he's
Come
not
on,
paid.
dude. You're out of your mind. It's like
Come on,
Well,
that's I'm not paid at all. I'm
well,
not paid at all.
if I may, I want to know, according to you, why should we have a trial? I mean, you're saying there's enough evidence to
No,
conclude that
no.
Tyler Rowe. Hold on, no, don't interrupt me. First of
Okay.
all, try to calm down, friend. And by the way, everybody, please retweet the space.
Take a
I
drink of water.
I would love to hear Sam Parker because he's done a lot of really awesome in-depth posts about all this stuff, and I see him here. But listen, why have a trial though? I want you to tell me why you think. What is the purpose of having a trial? Shouldn't we just lock this guy away now? Is it just a formality that you think deserves a trial, or do you think he's innocent until proven guilty?
I think he's innocent and proven guilty on the charges that he has, right? So his
What
charges
do
are
you think we
capital
were talking
punishment.
about? Guilty of not kissing
Wait,
his girlfriend?
no. Like I don't know what about kissing his girlfriend or anything like
Is
that.
he
I
Well,
have no idea
innocent
what
obviously
you're
until?
we're
talking about.
talking about.
But
Obviously we're talking
there's
about
a
this. Hold on. Obviously we're talking about the charges at hand. So again, why have a trial, right? What is the purpose of having a trial, right? Don't people get found innocent who we think to be guilty?
well, yeah, but the trial is to see if the charges that the prosecution has levied fit what the evidence shows.
The trial is
That's what it
determine
is.
whether he's
So
innocent or guilty, right? Isn't that true?
no, guilty. No. Wait, it's to determine whether or not he's guilty of what he's been accused of.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
no shit, right?
which is a specific crime, which is
Yeah, I
with
get it.
capital
We
murder.
all
There's
understand. But just
enhancements. There's all that
okay,
stuff, right? But I can make the determination that he was the one that actually killed Charlie without actually having to go through the court defense and going he's guilty of murder.
okay. So
There's
if you can
killing and
do
there's
that,
murder. There's a different thing, right?
okay, all right. So if you can do that, right, that he's the one that killed Charlie,
I
right?
wish I had
Then
those powers of
yeah,
divination
I,
and
I do. Right,
clairvoyance and yeah, yep.
right. Well, boy, all I can say is I hope that you never serve on a jury, you see, because everything you're expressing is just the most anti American, forgive me, bullshit that I've ever heard in my life. Jury trials existed in England as well, and the reason why they're sacred is to protect us. I'm sorry, but from people like you, right? Because you just have this power. Even judges don't presume to have this power. The good ones, anyway, because they say, "Well, let's let the evidence come to us." It's pure empiricism, right? It's not. Well, I watch TV and he's guilty. He could be innocent. He could have not done the thing that you're sure that he did. And by the way, he could have done them. You see, I lack the prescience that you do. I don't know for sure. But anyway, I just wanted to make that point. Again, if we can persuade
Well,
your friend
I've
Sam.
heard this. I've heard this argument before, right? So it's like
You mean
so
for
the way
innocent
that I
until
like to
proven guilty?
yeah, well, of course, I always
It's
agree
the
that
code
that's
of
the case, right?
Hammurabi, dude. It's existed for 4,000
No,
years.
I know,
It
I agree, I agree with that. But listen, so that let me understand. Like I've heard this argument from people before. Okay, so the way that I counter this is that when I come home to my house, right, and the door is open and a bunch of my things are gone, I don't need the court to tell me that I've been robbed. Right? I don't need that in order to conclude that I've been robbed. Right? I only need to conclude
hold on. That's a
that
straw
a
man because
specific person.
no,
You
no.
No,
said
it's
sex
not at all.
counselor?
It's not
It's
at
a
all
straw
because
man.
what you're doing. There's a difference
I'll
between
tell you why it's a straw
somebody
man.
the
It's
evidence
a straw man
of
because hold
killing
on.
someone.
It's it's a straw man because in order to equate to what you're doing, you would say, I know who robbed me and he is guilty of this and we don't need a trial. We know that Charlie Kirk was killed, right? We can reasonably conclude that anyway. But no, you're not saying that. You're saying the guy, I know who robbed me and let's not have a trial because I'm sure of this. And of course, this is the wrong way to go. This is flies in the face of
It
everything that our
depends.
republic. What do you think we have a
It,
First and Fourth Amendment
it
and all of these
depends.
things?
Did they leave multiple notes in my house saying I robbed you?
Did they leave?
Like, did they leave fingerprints? Did they leave forensics? Did they leave all this stuff in my
You
house?
don't know. You don't know any of that. You are assuming.
I know,
that.
but that's what's
you're
being.
making.
But I know, but that's what's.
presumptions, bro. Because
He's
you're
a
on your
conspiracy
Android.
theorist.
That's
Listen. You are sounding like a conspiracy theorist. You are making claims without being able to connect it with evidence. Period. And until you have the evidence to back up the claims, you're speculating. So, but I want to go to the other hands. You've got the loud mic and you are dominating the floor. I want to throw it around a little bit.
hey, sorry,
Let's
Dill.
go. Yeah,
You know,
go
I,
ahead.
you know, I,
Yeah,
I hate
I'm
that, but
moderating, bro.
sorry.
This is what I do. That's why I'm the host. Let's go to Noah. Go ahead, Noah, and then we'll go to Carol and Garrett.
Thank you, Diligent, and I subscribed Harmony. Thank you guys, great spaces. And thank you, Logic, actually, for being a space. I actually try to have 4 quick questions for you and the entire panel. Number 1, do you believe in innocent until proven guilty? Number 2, do you believe that
Let's just do one at a time. Like, let me answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. That's a fact, right?
Okay.
But that it's a difference between evidence proving guilt and a court of law doing
You
it.
don't have to
No, we'll
justify
get
it.
there. We'll get there. All right. Number 2, do you believe that a plaintiff is found guilty and found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? In other words, do you think or believe that there should be, if there is reasonable doubt, that a person should be found innocent?
I think there's always I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer this. I think there's always reasonable doubt, even in a guilty verdict of a jury of our peers.
The question
I
is
think there's
beyond.
always like, even if only like 0.00001%. Right. So I'm not sure what the question is.
Okay, you're
That's
pulling
doubt.
that out
It's
of
not
air,
reasonable
dude.
doubt.
So, okay, that the standard is that a plaintiff is found guilty beyond a
A
reasonable doubt.
defendant, not a
The
plaintiff.
defendant, thank you. And the evidence builds the case, and you get a story, and the story is much stronger than the defense's, and the prosecution gives you a story that proves beyond a reasonable doubt from the defense that a person is found guilty of a crime. Do you believe in that?
Well, I don't know, because we've had wrongful convictions before. So it's like, when you're asking me to go have an absolute, it's like, we had wrongful convictions in this country, right? So it's
Okay,
like,
But
when you
well,
say
it
just
is
because
you're telling
a conviction is, you know what I mean? It's not absolute.
Okay, now you're annoying. Okay, but number 3, do you believe that the quality of evidence that is presented so far in the Charlie Kirk assassination proves Tyler Robinson to be the lone shooter and guilty beyond a reasonable doubt?
Obviously, yes.
No, explain your position why obviously yes. The evidence that's out there.
Okay, because his parents ID'd him. His parents
That's not
talked.
evidence. You're using the
Well,
charging document again.
come on, stop. What do you mean?
No, bro. He said evidence.
Okay. So you're saying it's made
The
up?
charging document is not evidence. If you try to cite the charging document, I'm gonna fucking shut you down every time.
Yeah, but that's the probable. That's
If
the
he had been
probable
arrested,
cause.
hold on. If he had been arrested at the fucking, if they had him in handcuffs at the scene of the crime, that would be evidence, right? If they had a clear picture of his face as he's running away, right, as someone jumped off the roof and ran away, if you could identify that person, that would be evidence. But until
Then how did his parents identify him?
have positive fucking evidence,
You are
How did his
citing
parents identify him?
citing a document full of allegations. I'm not gonna let you do it to my crowd. He asked you for evidence. Bring the fucking evidence, or say I don't have it. It's okay to not have it, but you need to be honest about it.
Wait a minute, right? The charging document contains evidence. Whether
No,
that
it does
evidence is
not.
admissible, yes. Oh, wait. In the technical term of a trial, sure, you can say that this is not evidence because evidence needs to be introduced and tried.
It is not
and
evidence.
cross-examined.
It is a description. It is a description of evidence. It's an inventory list. It's not fucking evidence. If I hand you a list of inventory in a car parking lot, is the list the cars? Right? It's no different than that.
Okay, well, how about this? Let's just dispel this real quick. Hey, Dill, if I have a picture of you shooting a person in the face and it's in the charging document, is that evidence?
Well, it depends on if it's photoshopped, right?
Right. So, that's the point that I was making, right? It's still evidence, but it still needs to be tried in the court. That's the whole point I was making.
There's no evidence in that charging document. It's not fucking evidence. The charging document itself is nothing more than allegations of what and why, right? So
right, it's a probable cause.
They're saying what the charge is, what he did, right, and why. Mm-hmm. Why do they have evidence? Why do they have reason, just cause, to bring these charges against him? That's all it is a description of why. It is not the why. Right? We're not talking about the why. We're talking about a description of the why. The charging document is not fucking evidence. So
I have a question.
I get that. I understand that.
Why
it's
are we
not
having
evidence,
a circular argument, bro? It's not like this is retarded. I'm tired of arguing.
Yeah, but the idea that they're not putting
Logic.
evidence.
His name is Logic. He's wearing sunglasses.
But the idea that they're not putting evidence into this charging document in order to give them the probable cause, that's just not fact. Now, I agree with you that the evidence needs to be tried in court, and we're going through that process of what's inadmissible and what's not.
This is retarded. I don't want to have this argument anymore.
Let me try this one
the
on
fucking
your
charging
Logic.
document is not fucking evidence of anything.
Yeah.
It is
Logic.
not fucking evidence of anything. I'm tired of wasting time on it. It's retarded. It's absolutely retarded.
Let me take one shot here. Okay, one shot. Logic. Let's say a woman accuses you of rape, okay? And it's not a criminal case, it's a civil case, all right? And so I'm writing the complaint and I say that on this date this happened and Logic did this to my client, he raped her, okay? And I put that in the court record. Is that evidence?
Her witness statement is evidence. Now, whether or not it's
not a witness statement, it's a complaint. So,
either way, that's her statement that she's signing to as evidence for me doing X thing.
You're wrong.
Yeah, that's how I get charged. Are you saying that? Are you saying that? Hold on, wait, listen.
I didn't know, but
listen. Hold on, wait. Are you saying that?
Oh, it's a glitch. It's a glitch. I'm sorry. You're wearing me out, bro. I need you to take a time out for a minute. Drink a glass of water. Stop interrupting everybody. We're going to go to the rest of the hands. Terry, you can finish making your point. Then we're going to go to Carol.
My point is, just because you're accused of something, either civilly or even criminally, and it's written in pieces of paper, that does not make it evidence, period. End of story.
If you have your hand up, go ahead, Carol, and then Coyote. Carol?
Yes, here I am. Hey, actual attorney here. I've been licensed in multiple states since 1989. That's probably before some of you were born. And I have first chaired many jury trials, both civil and criminal. Let me give a few basics here to help everyone. And I'm not going to argue with law and logic. Don't open your mouth, law and logic. Charging documents.
I dropped him for a
Okay,
moment.
good. Charging documents and complaints don't contain evidence. Okay? Those are allegations. And a prosecution structures the allegations in a charging document or in an indictment and in an information and complaint to coincide with the elements of the crime that the prosecution intends to prove by way of evidence at trial. This is just a short course for everyone. Evidence includes direct witness testimony, it includes documentary evidence, it may include photographs, it includes opinion evidence from experts, such as forensic experts, medical experts, ballistics experts, even the best attorneys who have stellar reputations may believe that their evidence is solid going into trial, but we never know until until our witnesses are cross-examined. They can be uh, rehearsed, trained. We can go through the reports of witnesses ad infinitum. We never know until we're actually there. And ultimately, it's up to the jury, if we have a jury, for the jury to weigh the evidence and to the jury considers the credibility of the witnesses who testify, the credibility of eyewitnesses, fact witnesses, that is, and expert witnesses. They may decide that we may have a group of attorneys from some of the best law firms in the world who believe that their expert is bulletproof, and a jury may disagree with that. In a trial before a judge, the judge may disagree. We have trials, if one does civil trials and you don't have a jury, as our civil lawyer on this panel knows, we may think that our evidence is solid and that we are providing rock solid evidence on every element of the civil action at hand. A judge may disagree, and he may be very wrong on those things. And that's what appellate courts are for. And that costs a lot of money. So I'm just, we've wasted quite a bit of time on this. Let me go to a big point here. And Diligent, I think that this is one that you're trying to get to, because when we're looking at confession as an evidence, we have a lot of wrongful convictions in this country, a history of wrongful convictions. And I've, without statistics at hand, I could safely say that most of those wrongful convictions are convictions that are based on confessions that don't have an independent factual basis to support them. A murder trial is rarely, I mean, we have high profile murder trials in the US, such as the murder trial for John Lennon. John, that didn't go to a jury, but a plea of guilty was entered by the defendant based on a conviction, based on a confession. And in that case, there wasn't an independent factual basis that was grilled by the judge. Judges usually do that. Okay? So confessions alone are known to be one of the most unreliable pieces of evidence. But this is what we flesh out. This is why you see these trials taking so much time, because we must follow the rules of evidence.
Hey,
And
Carol, bring up O.J. Simpson. I'd love to hear
yes,
your take on that.
exactly. I'll let you bring that, but exactly. We don't. i- 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 we cross-examine, and we may have a witness, we may have an eyewitness, but when I cross-examine eyewitnesses all the time and expose that the eyewitness is legally blind and wasn't wearing glasses when they saw what they saw, or that the eyewitness is on regularly receives injections once a week of a drug that would impair their ability to impair their short and long term memory, which then, raises issues. This is why we go and we weigh these things. So this just Diligent, if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer. But that was a big waste of time. And everything that I agreed with
Yeah, I knew it
everything that
was.
you
I knew it
said.
was, and I didn't want to. Yeah, we're not going to sit here and argue about if charge allegations are evidence. It's
But maybe
redundant. Yeah,
it,
but
yeah,
I do want to go back to what they're saying though, about Joe Kent, and like they're freaking out. They're freaking out about Joe
they should
Kent and what
be.
he's about him alleging that there is a foreign nexus involved with the Charlie Kirk assassination. They are tripping over that. Tripping.
Well, because
And
he's credible.
what's interesting about that is Andrew Colvett mentions Israel and the Jews. Joe Kent didn't. He actually said when he said that, I'm not saying Israel did it, but there's a foreign nexus. That's what he said. So they're actually implying it, not him.
As always, Diligent. Whenever they whenever they open their mouth, they stick their foot in it, right? Like it just they it's like they can't help themselves, right? In trying to throw Joe Kent under the bus, they just keep implying that there's a cover up, there's a conspiracy, that Israel might be involved, that they didn't want us to know about Charlie's change of mind. You know, like they're so concerned with destroying Joe Kent that they're accidentally just dismantling or destroying themselves. This is what I was trying to say earlier. Like for the new people that have joined us, yesterday, Andrew Colvett revealed that he passed those screenshots on to people, Joe Kent and other people, but with the thinking that they would remain private and that the public wouldn't know. And he's basically expressing frustration now that these screenshots were leaked. Therefore, we can surmise, 1 + 2 = 3. He did not mean for us to know that Charlie had changed his mind on Israel. We weren't supposed to know that. We weren't supposed to know. And remember, even when that was rumored that there were these group chats, these texts saying that, there were people in that group chat who lied and said it wasn't true. They said it wasn't true that Charlie was changing his mind. And then lo and behold, the screenshots leaked and he said, I have no choice but to drop the pro-Israel cause. So these people lied. They lied about Charlie's change of mind. And now we know we weren't supposed to find that out. They didn't intend for us to find that out.
Let me hop in. Let me please hop in.
Before you hop in, I just want to remind everybody, please go to the bottom right-hand corner. We got 99 reposts. We'd love to have this shared out. We are an American space. We are not botted. Thank you, Diligent. Who do you want to call on next? I know Logic's been talking for a while.
It's fine. Go to somebody else. That's fine.
Logic didn't even repost the space. Go repost the space.
That's funny.
You couldn't do that, could you
Carol.
now? What camera wouldn't
That's
allow that.
funny.
Go ahead,
Um,
Coyote.
yeah, and then Timmy, and then Noah.
No, I just find it interesting, man. It's Sam came up here. You ain't gonna get away with too much shit in diligent spaces. So I do a lot of like perception, just looking around or whatever, and kind of trying to learn some things or whatever. And I do find it funny, Logic, man. Like you're coming up and you're talking a bunch of nothing to no one, just to disrupt. And we have got way off sidetrack. You've been successful in it. Too, but it's like they do have these little organizations and whatnot. They have the media monitor. I'm not accusing you, of course. I'm just saying, like, it is a thing. And Diligent, you would be a prime account, especially with the X Spaces for these kind of things. Especially, bringing Sam up here. I get it a little bit, so I know you do. But I just don't even know where this guy came from. But he's done a good job. Good job on your argumentative whatever this is. Logic.
Coyote,
Props.
his description.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you, bro.
Coyote,
Repost the space.
his description says master debater. I
Oh,
would
I've already
check that
seen
out,
it.
Logic. I would check that out if I were you and keep practicing because not so much in
Hey,
this
that's
space. You're not,
I know it's ad hominem. So like what I like to do is go and get down to the brass tacks of stuff and not everybody's feelings. So it's
Yeah, but
like
it
I
must
don't want to
get.
do I don't want to do logical fallacies all day long, which
But it
is
must wear
normally
on
what
Then why
people,
do you
happens.
keep
bro.
doing them? Why do you keep doing them? You make suppositions that aren't backed by evidence. It doesn't make any sense. And straw man
Well,
and
I
red
think I
herrings all
disagree, Dill.
day. Like during this space, bro, it's recorded space. Like
Well,
I would
I
highly
know.
advise.
That's why I continue to go and make.
I would highly advise that you replay the space on the recording and then check your strategy. Because if you don't like logical fallacies, you have been tripping over your own feet during this one,
It's
brother. No offense. I'm just
So
the
saying.
active listening skills.
let me
Logic. I'm
let
trying
me
to
ask a
help.
question.
Trying to help real quick. Hold on. Let
Go
me give
ahead.
you a little bit of feedback. So it's the active listening skills right there. That's one of the things or whatever. But also at the same time, what would bug me is whenever I walk away, like being you, and then knowing everybody's like, "Oh my god, that guy's fucking," yeah. Like that's what happens, bro. Like it's like you're not making sense, and I can't. It's driving me crazy, and that's what it's designed to do. So I'm just gonna knock it and see. I don't want to take a step further or whatever, but I don't know why you're doing that with this. We're just trying to figure out the truth. We're not bad people. Like nobody in here is doing anything nefarious.
No,
Hey,
I
breaking
agree, and that's
breaking
why
news.
I love going into these spaces and use and diligence and everybody, all the hosts and stuff like that have been really kind to me and stuff like that. So like I just like to hop in and go and give my perspective on it and
Yeah,
stuff
it's all
like
right.
that.
It's so
It's
good. I
like
No,
like to
we're
argue.
glad you're here, Logic.
I also.
Breaking news. The Florida Democrats won a special election in the Mar-a-Lago district in Florida just now.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Hello.
Yeah. They better start
recount,
shifting them.
recount.
Let's go to Timmy. Go ahead, Timmy, and then we're gonna know.
Hey, what's up, Diligent? What you call it? I tagged you in the post. I'm curious, since Sam and you and I had a discussion last time about his seemingly biased investigation about the Mormons potentially having no involvement in the Charlie Kirk assassination,
I never
not having
said
the
that.
means.
I know.
Hang
Don't
on, you
put words
did,
in my mouth.
you
I did
did.
not
I
say that.
posted the record.
No.
Well, hold on. So let's not like make this a personal feud, Timmy.
And we already
And
had that debate space. If people want to hear that space,
yeah,
Diligent, it's
I don't
on
want to.
Diligent's page. You can go listen to it. We litigated that for several hours. We're not going to relitigate
We
it.
did have a whole space
So,
in the Mormon issue.
So I did 1 minute, one fact on the mains and means though. I learned that only representing 2% of the population, that the Mormons did account for 20% of the graduations of the FBI. I posted it in the pill. There's a receipt. So the means excuse actually doesn't cut the mustard, I guess. So have you looked into any potential Mormon involvement in the Charlie Kirk assassination, given the proximity to Utah? Could I
Literally
finish,
just
please?
said
Can I
we
finish,
had
please?
that debate in another space. We're not doing it
Can I
again.
finish? Because you filibuster whenever the Mormons get brought up. So as
We
far as you're
Diligent. Are
filibustering
we going to
again, you're
litigate the Mormon
filibustering
angle again or
again.
what?
No, I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to. Like
Yeah. See,
you
so
do this every time,
hey,
Timmy. Like I
just
don't.
let him get a minute. Let him get a.
Okay. So we're gonna. I want everybody to take a breath. I want you to read the title. What does the title say? TPUSA Kent smear debunked. Now this involves Joe Kent, Candace Owens. It involves uh, um, fucking what is his name? The TPUSA spokesman, right?
Yeah,
It
a
involves
Colvet,
Erica Kirk, Colvet. Thank you,
Blake Nev,
Colvet.
all of
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to rehash the whole like he's over here saying it's the Jews, you're over here saying it's the Mormons. It's a whole popcorn space in and of itself. I don't want it to derail the space. If you want to keep it on topic, I'll allow it. Otherwise, I want to move on. Timmy.
For
and
the
by the way,
record,
I
I'm
just
not
want to say,
saying. For the
Diligent.
record, I'm not saying that it's either. I'm just saying on an independent investigation. But I want to be respectful and keep it on topic. So I will pass the mic, Diligent.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to co-sign that. Listen, if we want to have another 3-hour space where we get into that, fine. But Diligent doesn't want to do that, right? He doesn't want to do that. So I'm respecting Diligent.
I'd like to go to the next one, Sam. I got a little something I found out yesterday.
We can
Sure.
have a on a weekend or something. We can have popcorn space where we have the Jews versus the Mormons discussion. I think it'd be kind of fun to moderate that. But I just
This would be foreign
I'm trying to
influence.
keep it on. I'm trying to keep it on why they're going after Joe Kent so hard. And I think it's because we're over the target with it, right? Like I want to know.
Well, let me be that. Like, I'm one of the very few people on the other end. It's like, you know what I mean? You got a whole space of people that are pro Joe Kent. It's like, I like to be
I'm
on the
not
other
pro
end.
anybody.
I
I'm
want to be
pro
We're
truth.
contrarian.
pro truth, dude.
Well, I mean, I get it, right? But it's
I
like
don't think you
everybody's
do.
arguing. Like, there's one side or the other, right? So like, there's a bunch of arguments on both sides, right?
I don't have
But
a
There's a
side.
bunch of
but I don't
arguments on the
have,
side of the
I'm
truth.
not married to a position, right? I'm willing to shift my position in the face of compelling evidence.
Okay, well, so
I would
here's the
say there
evidence that
should be
happened.
no
Here's the
argument in
evidence
the.
that happened.
Hold on. There
Like,
should be
okay,
no
go ahead.
argument in the way we conduct our thinking about the truth, right? An ad hominem attack, let's not forget, is not just an attack on the person, but on their motives, which is exactly what's happening with Joe Kent. I don't know Joe Kent, by the way. I'm not particularly interested in his motives. Chelsea Manning was right to show American soldiers culling innocent people from a chopper, and people accuse Chelsea Manning of having bad motives. I don't care. It's the culling that I care about, okay? So, how we conduct ourselves in the thinking about the truth. For instance, we have people coming on here saying, well, he's guilty until proven innocence. Well, we know that someone doesn't manage ideas very well when they do that. And also, and I will say this to get back to the topic, I want to ask Diligent a question. If there weren't holes in the Tyler Robinson story, if there wasn't a dearth of evidence, if there wasn't a bunch of oddities, do you think these people would be doing this at all? If Tyler Robinson was really so dead to rights, forgive the phrase, then would they be doing this? Because the more holes there are in that story, and the more we all know, given Epstein, given everything else, that the political state will lie to us and conjure evidence, conjure a whole narrative in order to make us look away from something very important, maybe Israeli involvement, then won't we have to consider that more? Don't these two things work together? Isn't it going to be odd if during the proceeding of considering whether Tyler Robinson is guilty or not, if there's holes in that story and no one's going to be asking, well, who else might this be? And could it have been intelligence? Could it have been? Don't we have to ask that question now? Don't we? Isn't there enough smoke for us to at least look? Isn't that what all defense attorneys do? Who else could have done this? If the defense doesn't do this, I'm going to be very suspicious. If they don't say, well, maybe it was. Look what Joe Kent said. I mean, don't you think that that's going to come up in the trial?
It better. It's reasonable doubt. You have a senior level Trump administration official who had access to classified information telling you that there was a trail to a foreign nexus that he was not allowed to investigate. And if the government did not disclose that information to the defense, again, the Brady law, they have to disclose all the evidence that they have, and they didn't do that. So it's a very
It's public information, Dill. So it's
it's not
automatically
public
disclosed.
information. That's not
Well,
public
yeah,
information.
obviously it's because we're talking about it right now. So like whenever
That doesn't make it
something goes
public
down,
information. It's secondhand. It's secondhand.
well, that's fine.
The government has to give that information to the defense. Not you, not me. What I say, what he says, anybody else says does not fucking matter. Right?
How
Even
do you know that?
only
How do you know that that hasn't happened?
what?
How do you know that that
He
hasn't
can't
happened?
prove negatives, and
The
neither can you.
Bro, why
schnozberries
do you
keep
keep
I know
doing
that's
getting
what
that
I
us.
mean.
shit?
So whenever
I
you're
can't
going
prove a
on the
negative.
direction,
I can't prove the
I
lack
know,
thereof, right? Like
I know. So you make assertions, claims that you can't prove.
I'm not making an assertion. I'm not
Well,
making an
yeah, because
assertion. The
like
law is the
it's
law. Joe Kent, a senior government official, right, of the government at the time, said that there was a trail that wasn't allowed to be investigated, leading to a foreign nexus. That's a government official.
do government officials lie?
How long you been a conspiracy theorist, bro? For real, for real.
No,
Like how long?
I'm like listening. I'm like, listen, it's perfect right here. This is perfect. I love it. Right? Do government officials ever lie?
Yeah,
Do
According to you, no.
Of course they do, right? And
Any person
do they?
lies.
Is it more especially what happens Do they lie whenever they leave
Is
government?
it more especially happens?
Yeah, does it more especially happen whenever they leave government that they are willing to lie
Does it
and
more especially
go
happen?
yeah and go on to
If he's
the
willing to,
grip of
if he's
X.
willing to testify in a court of law, will he be
I
subject to perjury?
well, I wish he would. I don't think he would ever do it.
If he is subject, if he goes and testifies in a court of law, is he subject to the perjury penalty? Yes or no?
What do you mean? Is he? Of course he is. If he
Okay,
testifies
so
in
then
court,
he's subject to perjury,
right? But
right?
he's not under oath right now.
Dude, it's just
He's
yes.
just going on podcasts.
Oh my lord! Did he say that he's willing to testify?
Willing to testify.
Did he say if he was willing to testify?
But listen, I'm willing to jump out of fucking airplanes without a fucking suit on.
All right.
Right?
All right.
Just because
I
you
don't want to
say it
argue
doesn't make it
semantics,
thing.
bro. These are dumb arguments. These are dumb arguments.
Very
Let's go
dumb.
to JB Bevo. Let's go to Jay Bevo. Go ahead. And then we'll go to Noah.
All right, thanks. Just want to come at this with a different perspective. With Kent, as far as everyone's concerned, it was my distinct pleasure to serve alongside him in a number of different theaters. I can attest 100% to the man's character. If he has turned a leaker, that would be the first. There's been far more things that he could have leaked about, made a lot of money, wrote a lot of books, like what you see a lot of the other GWAT vets do. On the other point, he did not take shots at anybody when he left. He has been more than willing to testify and has actually said this to a number of different podcasters, including those that have batshit fucking crazy as Mark Levin. So just a side note, if you see the guy, he's going out there calmly explaining what it is that he was trying to do. And the only thing that you hear is people losing their effing minds, attacking his family, attacking who he's married to, bringing in the question, did he really get 6 Bronze Stars? So if you're comfortable with the facts, then a lot of the facts will speak for themselves. And all the naysayers that you hear, and especially now that I hear, are going after the man's character, which has been exemplary. That's about all that I
He's an
had to
11
say.
tour veteran, right? Decorated, who lost
Yep.
his wife in Syria.
And
Like,
here's the thing about it. I wish I could say all the things that I've watched him do, and the teams he was on. It is literally the best of the best. It was an honor. And anybody who calls in to question his character, and this is the thing that I've been doing and a few other guys, I'm not sure if you guys pay attention to Clay, but all of his detractors, we ask for the receipts. What did he leak? By all means, put it up there. It goes both ways. If you're going to make
there's
an
not one shred
accusation,
of
back it
evidence
up.
that he leaked anything.
Exactly. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
kind
want
of like. Can I? That's
I
kind of.
I
That's
wanna-
kind of not.
Terry's going to comment. Terry's going to comment.
I just want to agree with the last speaker. I also know him personally for many years and his family. I don't agree with him. In fact, as I told everybody, I contributed to his opponent not once, but twice in the congressional race over in Washington. But if you attack the man's integrity, his honor, his guts, you don't know what you're talking about, period.
Okay, listen. Let's just say that I'm a decorated hero, right? And I do all this stuff, right? And I am the greatest person. My background's perfect. I served in the military, and then I do something grotesque. Are you guys absolutely supporting me?
It's a
Well,
ridiculous
Logic,
argument.
what grotesque
I know
Absolutely
thing did Joe
not. What
Kent
did he
do?
do that was
because
grotesque?
Let's just talk about
well
the case here.
because he is
What?
being accused right now of
Okay.
leaking information during
Well,
an
well, let's
investigation.
see if that
That is Joe
hypothetical
Kent.
works in reverse. Let's
That,
say that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, and they set up a whole scheme where Tyler Robinson looks guilty, and then they covered it up and shut down the FBI investigation. Do you think Joe Kent is right to be calling out the fact that they shut down that investigation?
Ooh.
100% if the evidence
Good,
showed that.
good,
100% if
good.
they,
We're on to something.
100%.
Okay. And Logic, let me
I
ask
know,
you this question.
I know,
Let me
but
ask
it's
you this.
not. It's what you're doing is it's not what you're doing is not logical.
They're both
There's
hypotheticals.
not. There's not. I know, but it's not logical
Uh,
that
Logic,
Israel
let me ask you
killed
this. To leak
Charlie Kirk. It's
something,
not logical.
logical, wouldn't
I
you
could
agree
teach
that to
logic, dude,
leak
so I think I
something,
know what it is.
that to
It's all right.
leak
Come on, slow
something,
down.
it has to be classified, a classified document, confidential, compartmental, information? Wouldn't you agree with that, or no?
It needs to be classified in order to
Why
be
do you
leaked
got to
from the
repeat
government.
the
Absolutely
question
not.
every time? Like it's like
No,
shit.
it's not. I'm saying no. That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true
So
that it needs
if
to
I
be
take
classified in
a
order for
piece of
something to be leaked
paper,
from the
hold
government.
on. You've talked, if I take a piece of paper off a government desk about something, anything, and give it to the people at Turning Point America, I'm a leaker. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, 100%. 100%. If it's a government document that's supposed to be compartmentalized,
Yeah,
and you give it,
is
Oh man.
a
give it to
screenshot
somebody
taken
else.
by is
Okay,
a
Logic.
screenshot?
You
Are
really
you?
don't know what
Are
you're
you?
talking
Oh,
about.
let me just end this right here. Is a screenshot taken by Andrew Kolvitz? Is that a government document or is that a TPUSA document?
I think whenever they give it
If
to
a
the
private
government as part
citizen,
of whenever they give it to the government as part of an investigation
was the
that's going on,
government the only
a major investigation.
was the
You're telling me
was the government the only person or people that received that document from Andrew
it's
Kolvitz?
not right. It's not
Was
100%
the
known.
government the only people that received the document? Yes or no?
Yeah, no, because we can't know
Okay,
for
then why are we having
100%.
this discussion?
Well, because
If it was
because
open,
there's people that said
if we don't know the chain of custody of the document, how can you allege somebody leaked it? You don't know the chain of custody. Could have been your brother, could have been your mom, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife. You have no
that's
fucking
fine. So we
clue,
got to work off of what we have right now. We have right
right?
now
Which is,
that
and
Andrew Colvitz,
that Andrew
come on, we
Colvittt
go.
gave that screenshot to multiple people because I played the clip of him saying it to you. So why are we having another fucking circular dead end argument? Come on,
Logic.
bro. Logic and reason. What's going
I
on
know, but
here?
when
You
you
believe
say
in
that he's
aliens,
saying,
Logic?
whenever he's saying that he's saying people, right? He also clarified in that same podcast. He says he gave it to this specific person. Okay.
That's not a
Now,
contradiction.
what you're doing is implicating other people, right? Without
No, I
evidence.
didn't
Not
do
at
it.
all.
Andrew Colvittt
Well,
did.
yeah, because okay. So then, who exactly gave it to Candace?
You have to ask Andrew Colvittt that.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, who exactly gave it to
Only
Candace?
Andrew Colvittt knows exactly who he gave those screenshots to. Correct?
So what he's doing is he's basically, without saying it in a roundabout way, because he doesn't want to do it.
No, that's not what he's doing.
He's saying, yeah, okay. So then who is he saying
That
that's
guy.
giving it to Candace?
He's alleging that Kirk did it. That Kent
That Kent did it.
He's
Right.
implying. He didn't straight out
in a roundabout way, right?
In a
So
roundabout way.
why
bro.
is it right? So why is that not?
Okay. This is a circular dead argument. I'm not going to continue.
You've said
I
the
know, but
same
why do you
thing for
guys
an
You're
hour
dismiss
arguing
that though?
semantics, dude. You're arguing fucking semantics.
Why do you dismiss that though?
The fact of the matter is that there's no chain of custody on the fucking document. He gave it to multiple people. I played the clip to you. We don't know who those people are. So trying to say that it was Joe Kent that leaked it is fucking redundant, and I'm not going to continue. Let's go to Noah and then Carol.
I just love that there's so many huge mass off moments happening, and this is one of them. This Joseph Kent, he is the personification of reasonable doubt. That's why he's so dangerous. You cannot have this guy testify. You can't even have this guy talking. He is reasonable doubt. This is too big. You know what? And I do appreciate you, Diligent. I appreciate Sam Parker. I appreciate any journalist that just takes the evidence itself, the quality of the evidence, and builds a narrative upon it. That is the job of a journalist. That is a job of a prosecutor, defense attorney, yada, yada, yada. Okay? It's the quality of the evidence. Don't blame the leaker. That's one of the first rules in journalism is when you receive evidence, do not make any morality judgments about the leaker themselves. Just take the evidence, hear the story out, suss it out, yada, yada. Okay? It's about the evidence. So let's not make moral judgments. I don't care who's involved. I don't care if the Mormon church is involved. Leave no stone. I don't care if it's the goddamn Mickey Mouse Club. Let's go. Let's go to the truth of this, And if you make a movie about it, it's got to be better than The Godfather Part 3.
Great answer.
Fully agree. Fully agree.
Carol.
Your logic? Are you sure?
Hey,
Yes, I 100% agree. I think that what you guys are doing is kind of like taking me a little bit out of
No, stop
context.
assuming.
It's always
Well, you're making assumptions.
uh,
Conspiracy
okay.
tropes.
Well, what it feels as though
Hold on,
is
I
that I'm a
called
little
on
bit out of
Carol.
context.
I called on Carol.
thank you. Someone should teach someone, ladies, don't, ladies first. I was called on. I am a lawyer. Okay. Do you have a question for me? Um, you were about to interrupt me. So I'm not talking about you, Diligent. I'm talking about the person who just interrupted me. I suppose I could say that the value of this conversation is that there may be other.
Oh, that was me. I was scrolling. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that,
That's a
Carol. Continue.
glitch.
That's okay. There may be other people who think who are holding the same delusional uh, uh, concepts about how cases are brought through the trial process, about how we find truth under our system. That and so the benefit of this, what we're saying is a waste of time, is that maybe we're providing some light so that people will understand that uh yeah, Diligent, when you talk about chain of command, excuse the chain of custody, there may be evidence that lawyers believe will be admitted at the time that the indictment is filed or the charging documents of the complaint that can't even be admitted because we can't authenticate that evidence or properly establish the chain of custody.
What's the correct terminology for that? To authenticate it,
Providence.
The correct terminology for what, please?
like to authenticate, to.
Authentication of evidence. In order for evidence to be admitted, we have to establish a foundation for the evidence. We don't have an eyewitness, a speaking witness, talk about what they know without establishing a foundation for why they know what they know and how they came to know it.
What if
Likewise,
it's
with
discovery, like
documents,
discoverable evidence?
discoverable. Well, we have the discovery process prior to trial to streamline, to streamline that, and also to flush out evidence. But there's a point I wanted to make that Diligent touched upon, and that is um, the exclusion. If a prosecutor or prosecuting team withholds or excludes exculpatory evidence in discovery, if they withhold or exclude the defense from having access to that, that is not only a violation that could cause a prosecutor to have discipline, sanctions on their license, but it's something that could cause a mistrial, sanctions. It just, our system, we generally, we don't allow that. And there've been, you could find numerous examples of high profile cases that have been, turned over on appeal. Uh, Mistrials called because prosecutors have monkeyed around and made those mistakes, either maliciously or negligently. Sometimes, and
Would you say that, like, when you authenticate some evidence, like if you authenticate it when it's, I guess you could say, fraudulent or false, is that a type of terminology they use too, or would it be just what is, like, actually, actually exist, like, negative, positive? Is it the same thing when you use the actual word authenticate?
well, we have to authenticate the evidence. Let's say that we have a recording of someone's voice or a photograph. That piece of evidence has to be authenticated, and we go through the adversarial process to authenticate that evidence. I may have a photograph that I want to enter as an exhibit, okay? And the let's say that the other side doesn't believe that that's authentic and they will challenge that. There again, we use the adversarial process. Each side, the prosecution and defense, will present their arguments uh, and engage in, we call that voir dire, cross examination.
What is it called when you, like, swap, I guess you could say, evidence or whatever with the other side or whatever of
That's
the.
when that's the discovery process when in a civil trial, when depositions are taken, or in requests for production of documents.
Authenticating, like, the negatives too, like, weighing out everything. I guess you could say, like, a
Uh,
filtration process.
the weighing, the weighing isn't done by the lawyers, by the prosecution or the defense. I mean, we will weigh what, we'll use our strongest evidence in certain
The
ways,
jury
but
is who weighs it.
right,
Yeah,
ultimately it's
correct.
the jury. The jury will do that. That's their job. In a trial to the court, the judge will weigh that. And when we have a jury, if we have disputed questions of law, the judge decides those questions of fact, including weighing credibility of witnesses, will go to the jury. Um, Now, when we're talking about authenticating evidence, or ed, you know that will be a decision. Sometimes that's a decision made by a judge, that a judge will do motions in limine, pretrial hearings as to the admissibility of certain evidence. Let's say,
But what is it up to you to, like,
mhm,
do please your case for the judge to show him that you're authenticating it? It is not a factual, data or whatever the case may be.
it's the laying of the foundation that 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 the evidence is what we are saying that it is. In the most simple example I can think of, that a photograph is that it represents what I'm offering to the court, what I'm purporting that it represents. That these are the people in the photo, this is what is in the photo, this is when and where it was taken, how the photo was taken, uh, how it was processed, and that type of thing. And
How do you think that Joe Kent, what has happened with Joe Kent and what he said will affect the trial?
well, that gets into some complicated issues that I think that may be decided outside of the purview and of the actual trial. That would probably be more a matter of pretrial negotiations, because there may be certain things that, if the prosecution has some, if they have an agenda to uh, not let that in, and the government is cooperative there could, I can't even begin to imagine the types of arguments that could be made to exclude his testimony, because we're already hearing allegations that he's a leaker, okay, with no receipts, but that's out there. So that's giving me a clue that there may be government interest in simply, doing everything possible to block him from
Would
testifying.
you
But they
say foreign
can't stop.
interest as well?
But they
Um,
can't stop the defense from going Johnny Cochran and saying this is corrupt. They are covering something up. The
exactly.
government. So okay, go tell me about that.
Well, you just start. Yeah, you just described it. I'm
Yeah,
not
expound on it
super
for us.
familiar with the OJ trial because I was actually handling a trial when the OJ trial was going on, and I have read about it and watched the series on that. But yeah, you're
Why
on the
would the
right you're on the right
why
track
would
there.
the defense not want to throw that out?
Why would the defense not want to throw what out?
Well, exactly what you were just talking about. It's like, why would they not want to try to throw that out? Right?
Do
You
you
were
mean
saying it.
exclude?
Yeah. What? Yeah. So why would they want? Why would they want to do that? You were using it as a defensive because they wanted to
She was
exclude
saying that the
this.
prosecutor might want to throw out the Joe Kent
Right, I'm
testimony.
talking the
Right.
prosecution. That's the government.
So why would the prosecution want to do that? What is the basis for that? And can you tell us how normal that is to happen?
I don't really get the question because obviously a countervailing theory weakens the prosecution's case. This has been throughout time, I didn't murder this person. My client didn't murder this person. We saw a guy with a red
It
hat
was
come
the
in.
one-armed man.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We should have been lawyers.
It opens the avenue to reasonable doubt. That's why they want to get rid of it. They want
Well,
to push
well
it.
Right.
spoken.
That's there you go. I didn't want to say it, but what I didn't want to say, I'll say that
But
if
you were
it's
free.
true that the government has an agenda, the government being the government and the prosecution, or the government is pressing the prosecution to keep that evidence out because they want Tyler Robinson to be convicted based on a confession and to
Yep.
exclude testimony of to exclude that coming before a jury testimony of witnesses, lay or expert,
Yes.
who
Can you?
would
Can you?
provide
I know.
reasonable doubt.
I think we kind of all get that, right? So it's like, can you
That would be
provide? Can you?
rather
Can you provide like
corruption.
any evidence anywhere that the state prosecution would be like, yes, I'm going to allow this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a normal procedural event that you're trying to say that it's abnormal.
I think you're trying to ask her,
I don't
is there,
understand the question.
well, I think he's trying to ask you, is there precedent? How do you think that's going to go? Do you think the state will be able to suppress the Joe Kent sort of, side of things, or what do you think about that?
Well, I've
Well,
seen
I
so
don't.
Not
much.
if not if
I've
the
seen a
jury
lot of
not if
corruption.
not if
Eh,
the defense calls him in as a witness.
You're saying
I don't think they can.
corruption with Joe?
Yeah, well, at
No,
the
no,
very
I'm not
least,
saying
so
corruption
they
with
may be
Joe.
able to suppress it, but I think that you would have a major chance for a mistrial or an appeal if that
Yes.
happened.
Okay.
I mean, how can you say that though? It's like, how can you say that? I think
Let
you're
me
right that
explain.
there's a real issue of the fact that they might call him as a character witness on all this whole thing,
No,
right?
he's not a
But then
character
what's gonna
witness.
okay,
He's
he's gonna
he
come
is
in as a fact
he is a
witness
part
to
of the government investigation,
right,
right?
right,
He's a member of the he was a member of the
right,
government. The same way
but
that
guess
they
what?
call in the same way that they call in beat cops, the same way that they call in evidence handlers from the jail or from the police department, right? They call these people in. Anybody who is a part of the case in any way, shape, or form, the detective has, or the defense has the right to call them in and cross-examine them, right? And so, as somebody who in the federal government who attempted to investigate and was impeded, they have a right to call him in. He's a part of the investigation. He's a part
No,
of
I
the
agree.
case.
No, I agree.
Dilly,
The
I'd love
issue
if
is
they got
the
like
issue
the
is like I just don't think that they're going to go and call him to the
okay,
stand
yeah,
because there's so much
speculation.
more discovery that's willing to be made just by him being there.
Okay. Hey, Diligent, I'd love if they like did like went OJ with it with the glove and got the gun and made him walk up the stairs like the whole way, like so we could see that it's basically impossible to walk with that big
Oh,
ass
when
gun.
I went there, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I did a whole reenactment. I did the whole peg leg up the stairway that they say that he went. I mean, I did it all. I've been up to it was like he went out of his way. He took the harder path, stairs, more cameras, a parking lot has more foot traffic, right? That's where people go in and out all day, so it's a higher concentration of foot traffic and therefore eyewitnesses that could ID him and see him peg legging with a fucking 30-06 in his pant leg. I did all of that, and it's like it's incredibly just from that alone, right? It just from that alone, it makes it a hard story to believe that he didn't either have help or there wasn't another person or that it was him, right? Like the government narrative is whack. It's whack. I did go to the college. I did 2 walkthroughs on Spaces, held Spaces, video space, walked around, let everybody ask me where they wanted me to look, right? We did a thorough investigation of that bitch, and it's just, man, they have a hard road ahead of them. The government narrative is full of holes, and that's why they're freaking out because he just came through. And they probably were pretty sure they had a sealed deal, and he would probably make a plea deal. Let me tell you what: if I was Tyler Robinson and my dad told me on a video call or a video visit that there's a Trump admin guy saying that a foreign entity is involved and he was impeded, I'd be like, hey, that's reasonable doubt. I'm not making no fucking deal, right? If I was him, that's what I'd be doing.
Diligent, since I've been on this space, I have gone from it's a big deal that Joe Kent said what he said to, oh my gosh, it's way, way bigger than I thought. Because I now, as in our friend here, the attorney was talking, I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, I don't see how they keep this out of the trial. If the state gets on trial, and I know they will try for that not to happen, but if they get on trial, I mean, none of us believe this. We all think they're actively lying to us. Post Epstein, I mean, gosh, with the holes that you just mentioned in the Tyler Robinson narrative, this is the other shoe dropping. If we even think, if it isn't in the public consciousness, the state could be involved, it has to end up almost compromising the whole trial and sort of destroying their case. I'm going to be very interested to see how they stop that from happening.
I didn't
Me
want
too.
to say this, but anything's possible. And Diligent, you raised this when we were group watching and you were making comments on the interview with Tucker Carlson, which was very helpful. It's so nice to be able to have that and hear reactions with from fellow people we're used to hanging out with and discussing these things. Okay, one of the things you said is, I hope that nothing happens to that witness. Things happen to witnesses all the time. That's the worst case scenario. Okay, and yes, it seems
What do you
it's
mean?
you know
Jeffrey
what I
Epstein,
mean,
bro.
right?
Oh,
Epstein,
You know
Charlie
what I
Kirk.
mean. That okay, and I've seen throughout my career. It's very naive to think that lawyers follow the rules of professional conduct. They don't. It's naive to think that people don't lie under oath. I see it in every trial with every witness, practically every witness I've ever had, as all trial lawyers have. This is remember, we're all here because we want a better world, whether it's Epstein, we want justice, we want these things. We want the ideal. We want an America based on a moral foundation, a legal system, and a social system that has a compass of decency. We follow the rule of law. Unfortunately, that is not the world that we live in. And if it was the world we live in, we would not be in this space, and we wouldn't have the rise of citizen journalists. We wouldn't even need that, because we have the Constitution, we have freedom of speech. But look at where we are. My opinion is that where one of the platforms upon which we really do have freedom of speech, even though we're often thwarted, is here on X Spaces.
Did you
That
see
this is
that interview, or I think it was one of the CNN guys? He asked Benjamin Netanyahu a question, and he quoted a book, and then it was a big deal, big debacle about he said like Jesus Christ and Genghis Khan or whatever. Did you see that or
I
no?
didn't see that, but I
It's a good
heard
watch.
about it, and that might have been someone called him Benjamin Netanyahu.
Does it have anything to do with Charlie
Who?
Kirk?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so
So I just want to remind everybody, please follow my co-host Harmony. She has been very consistent. She always shows up. She does a good job. Thank you, Harmony. If you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by subscribing. There's a pink button on my profile. I have a subscriber group chat community where everybody kind of kicks it, and then we do subscriber only after spaces to give value to our supporters. There's a link for one up in the Jumbotron. I'll be wrapping it up here in the next little bit. Go ahead, Carol. You can finish.
and also repost
Hey,
this.
give your first. Hey, Carol, give your first name too, please. Just let
My
everybody know.
first name is
Just your
Carol.
first. Yeah, I know. Just your.
I'm
Oh, is it really?
completely
Okay,
Come on, bro.
doxxed.
Come
perfect.
on.
Yeah,
Let
that's
her
my
finish.
real
Let her
name.
finish.
I don't have a blue check mark, but I'm exposed. I'm right out here in the open. I'm not under a pseudonym. You can Google my.
Go
You,
over to my
No, you
yeah,
are
I'm
awesome. Let's go.
yeah,
I'm
I want
here.
you quit your derailing the space. Carol, finish what you were
Yeah.
saying. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. What I was going to add to what Diligent said, even if you disagree with the panel here, or you disagree with Diligent's position, and I'm talking to you, Logic, and others, repost the space, because we want to have more people on this space that have differing viewpoints. So if you want to have these things flushed out, I mean, this is how we flush out the truth. It's very similar to how we flush out the truth in trial. We have opposing viewpoints, and we have healthy debate, healthy argument. So repost the space and get in here, and let's keep talking, and bring in your normie friends, bring in other people, and let's all talk about this. Because the more we talk about it, the more the things that I have seen happen, whether it's in trial or in the course of advocating for child protection, the things that I have seen, the atrocities that I've seen in daily life throughout my career, the more people we have talking about this, the better chance we have for a, a more for an improved society, for a society that's not a swamp, a society that is a garden that has a moral compass. And don't we all want that? I think we all want the same thing.
Fuck yeah, Carol.
All
Everybody
right.
follow Carol. Make
Thank
All
sure you
right.
go
you.
and
Thank
hit
you.
that.
Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No simping. No simping on my stage. Let's go to domestic. Go ahead.
My main question is, what will you guys do if Tyler just pleads guilty and decides that, he has the choice, right? Like when the lawyers come to him in the prison cell, they're like, "Here's what they got." He has his evidentiary.
What? You there?
He has his evident.
Evidentiary hearing. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He has that coming up soon, and then his preliminary. Like it's
it's a long way to go until trial. Like, you guys are making a lot of assumptions that you guys are going to even see
Well, we're not
any of
making
the evidence.
assumptions, but I can tell you that I will go about doing something else. Now, let me ask you a question. What will you do when the evidence comes out that Israel assassinated Charlie Kirk? What will you do?
That's a good question,
I
David.
mean, what do you want me to do? I can't do
Well, you
nothing
just, well,
about that.
well, I'm asking you the same question in reverse. See, it's funny because logic, and it's ironic that I'm having to teach people
Come on,
this.
let's go.
It's supposed to work in both directions. Okay. So when you say all these leading questions, what will you do when we don't know
Well,
yet?
it's his
And by
right.
the way,
It's
I
it's
just want to
it's
hold
his
on. I just want
right.
to
Well, active listeners do.
hold on. I just want to finish this with this. If you go to more diligent spaces, he doesn't run away from the facts, he runs towards them. And when we extrapolate too much from the facts, including myself, by the way, then he'll say, all right, let's stick to what we know and what the facts tell us. And that's a moving target, right? Because we get more information, things like Joe Kent. That's why we're here today talking about it. So this whole thing of leaping ahead and saying, what would you do? Well, listen, I have never, and I think I'm speaking for most people in the spaces, I have never said that I absolutely know what happened. So I don't really know how it's going to be turned out, but I know that the side that's against us is very anti-factual. You know, the bedrock of both the rational and the scientific method is skeptical inquiry. And you don't want us to have that. The opposition is telling us you're not allowed to talk about this. You shouldn't be thinking about this. And they're doing the lowest form of character assault, which is the ad hominem attack that goes after our motives instead of going, well, let's follow the facts. So why don't we do that right
I
now?
mean, so if that's all fine and dandy, but like if you guys actually believe in due process and the rule of law and innocent until proven guilty, you're gonna just sit here patiently and wait until the court dates like everyone else, like Tyler himself, who's locked up, right? I mean, if his family is saying that he did this and they got enough evidence,
His
he's
family
in
is not
there.
saying he did this. You don't have
Well,
any evidence of that.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever the
who's
news is
impatient?
saying,
Who's
what
impatient?
whatever the news is saying, you still have to wait until the dates, and then he's gonna make that decision. But I just ask you, like, are you guys gonna let your buddy, who
You
like
think I
uh,
just because he makes a plea deal, right? Because the government has a good track record doesn't
well,
necessarily
who's the
mean that the
government? The state
investigation
of
has to
Utah?
stop. I mean, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have signaled that they're looking into other possible players through the group chats and stuff, right? So why
Yeah,
would
they would have
us?
charged them. They would have
Why would
charged
we?
them.
Like, I mean, if he pleads guilty, he pleads guilty. It doesn't mean that
But I
I'm
mean,
gonna. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop. Please stop interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you. So if he pleads guilty, he pleads guilty, and if there's more to unravel, we're gonna continue to pull on the thread. Period.
I just don't see how you guys are gonna actually be able to do that if he doesn't appeal anything. You guys
What do you
don't
mean?
actually.
Who's gonna stop? Who's gonna stop me?
Well, how you? What
Exactly.
do you mean? Do you like it? So what? You're gonna get on pack file and then just look at the court dockets and then just make assumptions from whatever evidence that they
I'm
publish.
going to.
That's perfect.
I'm going to independently investigate the case as much as I can, because just because someone pleads guilty doesn't mean that you know all of the information. There's other witnesses that might not get called in that case, right? That we can go talk.
So if
There's
he,
other witnesses. If you interrupt me one more time, I'm gonna fucking boot you down. So if there's other witnesses that could be called in this case, there's other evidence that might turn up somewhere if we go kicking over rocks, right? We don't know how limited the scope of the investigation was, since they centered on Tyler and seemingly did not look outside of that scope as far as we know. So and who knows, even if I can't make them go press charges, we might be able to find truth and create enough public outrage where the next person who's running for governor over there decides to tell his administration to look into the case and reopen it and potentially arrest more people. Right. So just because the government doesn't do its job doesn't mean that we let up. Right.
I mean,
That's my
that's not
point.
how you do it. You elect someone into the DA's office and then they can get access to the files in there. Like that's
No,
the
no, no,
whole
no, no.
thing.
That's not because it's been
It's
done
not what
right
I
here.
said, anyways. It's not what I
Well,
said at all.
There's
if
been
you really
politicians
want
come on
that though.
here.
Come on,
Okay.
let
Go
him
ahead.
deal. Let him deal. He's making a good point. Let him deal.
No, he's not.
No,
He's making your
he's
point. I
not.
know exactly
That's
what
not.
point.
But
And
wait,
I,
he's
well,
not.
I
He's
didn't
making
say
my.
that.
So what if
I
he's
didn't
Look
making
say
at
my
that.
point?
I'll give you
Come
guys
on.
an example. Look at Mumia Abu Jamal, right? The DA's office in Philly has been
Depending
holding
on the states, DJs are either
right,
appointed
right,
or they are elected, right? Do you
right,
know
and
what
they
it
get
is there?
elected. They get elected, but the files are
Depending
still
on the
there.
state.
They get elected or whatever. However, each state does their
The
judicial
judge
system, but
presiding over the case was appointed
Come
by the
on,
governor.
Dale. Come on,
I'm
Dale.
just
You cut him
saying.
off every time.
I'm just
right,
saying.
but like that's not how. Just because the judge is assigned to the case temporarily doesn't
But
mean
you don't
like
know
there's a
either,
current.
right? You're speaking in a
But
hypothetical as well. You're
no, it's not
speculating.
about hypothetical. There's statutes that govern the rules of how this case is gonna go. This ain't no grand conspiracy. There's rules. If you just look at the Utah code and
You
follow it,
said,
the
what are
statutes
you
and
going to
follow it.
do? You
Yes,
said, what are
yes.
you
It's a
going to do?
state
Hold on,
case
hold on,
too.
hold on. You are
Well,
saying, what are you go? The question was, what are you going to do if he pleads guilty? I told you, and there's nothing that you can say that's going to change this because it's a fact that I am going to continue to investigate Charlie Kirk's assassination and report on what I find. And what
okay, that's
happens after
fair.
that is
I
outside of
mean,
my control.
that's fair. Just that's fair. Just be careful. Like it.
What do you mean, be
What do you mean?
careful?
Be careful.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
But because it can turn
Like his
on
name
to
is
Hold on, no, I'll speak
propaganda.
for him. Hold on. He can speak for himself. He's a grown man. What do you mean by be careful? What does that mean? Be careful of what? Might be a mute glitch. Are you there, domestic?
Be
Did we lose
careful.
him?
Domestic, you there? Domestic.
You won't get Charlie Kirk.
No, like I'm not saying. Listen, America's a
Be
big
careful
country.
of what? Can you be careful of what?
America is a big country. I'm not saying there's obviously you guys got some
Wait, hold on. You want him to be
benefactors.
careful that America is a big country?
No, listen. I'm trying to tread lightly here, right?
Bro, you
Just make
better
that
America's a
tread
right.
big
lightly.
country, right? Meaning that
Come on, let him land the plane.
I'm in
Come on, guys.
Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania. So
I'm in
my
Texas.
understanding of the law is regarded to the little bit of the federal law that I know and mostly Pennsylvania's statutes, right? And our
But what are
wonderful
you
state.
telling him to be careful about? I want to hear this.
Well, I mean, what do you expect is going to happen? Let's say hypothetically, and because we men, we all adults here. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. Hypothetically, let's say Tyler does plead guilty, right? And then you guys don't, for whatever reason, don't accept that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna start doing violent stuff? Or are you just gonna like
Whoa, whoa,
do
whoa,
Yep.
whoa.
do?
What's the
Why
next?
are you inserting something? So you just made a
So weird.
you just made a vague threat, right? Be careful, right? Tread lightly. That's what you're getting at there. And then you're following up with, when we called you out on it, you're following it up with trying to suggest that we're going to riot if Tyler Robinson pleads guilty, which has not been implied, it hasn't been suggested. We haven't danced around it. We didn't speak of it vaguely like you just did, right? You're doing some Fed shit, right? So I'm going to call it out. I'm going to let you land your plane, and then we're going to wrap up the space.
You said you're gonna report, and then whatever happens, happens. All right.
Yeah,
And
that outside of
I'm
my
not
control.
implying anything. It just at
What do
that
you mean?
time, right?
Well, how whatever
Well,
happens happens. How is that indicating anything? You asked me, you're like, how are you going to force them to enact the law? There's certain statutes I got to follow, yada yada yada. I'm talking about reporting the news.
yeah,
I
report
report
the
the news
news, but
every
like you,
day. I
all
report the
right,
news every day, and I have no control over what happens as a result. Do I? No.
no.
Okay. So then why are we having this discussion?
Well, it just comes off like you guys are going
You
so hard.
guys,
Yeah, I've been listening to y'all for a while, right? And you guys have been
okay.
going, and I've been tuning in ever since your buddy got assassinated, right? Trying to figure out what's going on with you, right? Trying to get an idea
Mm-hmm.
because like I be
Our
keeping up
buddy.
on terrorist groups all the time, so I'm just trying to get an idea. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you just call us a terrorist group? All right, bro.
He
All right, that's
went
enough. That's
troll. He
enough.
went troll.
I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Make sure you're following Harmony. Make sure you're following my co-host. She's amazing. Make sure you're following Julian and David and Coyote and Logic and Grendola and Linda and Domestic Fed down there. Make sure you're following any one of them if you want to. And if you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by subscribing. I've been canceled about 6 times since I started working on Epstein. I do this full time for a living, and it's not cheap. Just using Grok cost me $300 a month. So if you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is using the pink button on my profile, and I will put you in my group chat, and we'll go to the subscriber only after space. The link is up in the Jumbotron. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. Share the link with your people who are not on X, your boomer friends, your boomer family, your kids, your Zoomers, boomers and Zoomers. Share it with them. Let them know what's up. This is the real shit right here. Have a good night, everybody. Love you, and we'll see you again real soon.